the immortal words of Judy Brown. Happiness is a choice. And we're happy to spend some time with us, Chip and Zay, off the rails on a Thursday. It is Texas's off week in football, but it is a big week in college football. Zay, we'll be talking to Lance Taylor, lanceslock.com for his picks and conversation about the games coming up.
That's funny, Ronald. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Ronald. We're going to be talking some Texas basketball because they play at home Saturday, their home opener. Against some tomato can, but hey,
you never know nowadays, man.
Never know.
Never know. These guys 25 years old in college, grown-ass men with kids, wife and mortgage. Like, yeah, I don't know who they're playing on Saturday, but
Lafayette.
Some Cajun brothers.
Well, I don't know if it's Louisiana Lafayette or just Lafayette.
I thought they took the Louisiana. Oh, they call themselves Louisiana now. You're right.
Lafayette College.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania.
Oh, man. This must be a Miller roots. Like, he must have some ties to the university since he's a Pennsylvania guy.
Yeah.
Be. Because this
Help
is
out.
Yeah, that's a long way to travel.
The Lafayette College, let's see, Lafayette College basketball. Yep. The Lafayette Leopards from Easton, Pennsylvania. They beat Dickinson College.
It's a huge win for the program.
Huge.
That's huge.
Lafayette over Dickinson. Let's see here. Yeah, the Lafayette Leopards. They lost to St. Joseph's 85-76. They beat Dickinson, and they'll play Texas at 2:00 on Saturday.
What conference are they in? Bucknell?
Patriot League.
Patriot League. That's why I'm seeing Bucknell, Lehigh, Boston U. That's a decent conference.
They got a white guy named Andrew Phillips is the leading scorer, 6'4" guard.
Let him hoop.
From Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. He is averaging 16 points and 5 rebounds.
Yeah,
this is Hoosiers type teams.
Yeah.
I like a couple brothers. It looks like they got a couple brothers on the team. So,
I mean, this should be one of them games. If you're Texas, you're pissed off. Like Dalen Swain, he said after the game, we felt like we could play with anybody in the country, which I'm glad he said that. I appreciate, the enthusiasm, the heart that he brought to the team, all of that. But Duke didn't even play well when you lost by 15. So, again, one game. It's bright lights. And let's also, we didn't talk about it yesterday because, I wanted to break down the game for what it was. And that's just, the X's and O's and everything that went on. I didn't want to TMZ the breakdown that we had for the first 30 minutes. But now we've had a day to process, and I'm feeling very TMZ right about now. Dick Vitale and Duke, we know he's biased against Duke, right? Like, let's make that clear. He's always has been.
Biased against them?
No, Bias like loves them.
Yeah.
Like him and Coach K are like this. So much so when they were doing the tribute for him before the game started, who was narrating the MFA?
Mike Krzyzewski.
So Duke got some calls. I watched it again yesterday. Duke got some calls where I'm like, it's in Charlotte. So 15-point loss. I have that game somewhere random as hell, like Portland, Oregon, at the Rose Garden. And it's not called the Dick Vitale Classic. And it's not officiated by Dick Vitale refs. And we'll see what happens then. I'm not saying Texas will win the game, but that's just something that I didn't talk about yesterday that I wanted to get into today, because my man Dick and Duke, he doesn't say many bad things about the Blue Devils. Never has. Ever since the days Christian Laettner was hitting all those clutch shots with Bobby Hurley and Grant Hill. Then obviously it came to Battier and Jay Williams and Reddick. And
was he officiating that bad?
It wasn't that bad. I wouldn't say it was.
It wasn't like the Texas Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not like that. But there were some calls where I'm like, I don't know.
All right. I didn't.
It was just a couple.
Sounds to me like you're just looking for a reason to bang on old one-eyed Smurf Dick Vitale.
I mean, that's rich coming from the guy that called him one-eyed Smurf just now. I love Dick Vitale.
Well, that's what he called himself.
Okay. I love Dick Vitale. Like, that man, he's a huge reason why I love basketball the way that I do. Some people might think otherwise. I see my man CB. He ain't the biggest Dick Vitale fan. Hey, that's fine. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. But Dick, it's always been a big part of my life because I remember some of the biggest games watching with my pops, my moms, and Dick Vitale was calling them things. So,
he's awesome, baby, with the cavalry.
Such a diaper dandy. Oh.
Did you see they put all of his sayings in like laminate in the black around the court?
No, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. Like, I'm glad that he got honored. You know, I thought he called the game well. He can't be on that 2-man team no more. You know, they needed Jay Billis there.
Well, he's beaten cancer 4 times, that guy.
It's incredible.
He's had a rough go of it here down the stretch.
Yeah, 86 years old too, still kicking it, still doing his thing. So, yeah, good for him.
And he was, instrumental in the formation of the Jimmy Valvano Foundation, the Jimmy V Foundation, and it was Dick Vitale and Mike Krzyzewski helping Valvano up to the stage to give his "Don't give up, don't ever give up" speech. And Vitale, he is an against all odds guy. He's the Lee Corso of college basketball. He was an okay coach. He coached at Detroit, the University of Detroit, and then got a sniff with the Pistons. That's pretty much where his coaching career ended. And then perfect timing, ESPN is starting and he gets in on the ground floor there. And he was great. He had the personality. He had all kinds of love for the game, passion for the game. It was contagious. And so good for old Dickie V,
Man.
He and Lee Corso, they were the mascots of their sport in a lot of ways. I mean, Dick would let people crowd surf him, and he would do anything. He'd do anything for the laugh, for the visual, and that was same with Lee Corso. And those guys, now the modern day would be Pat McAfee. I don't know that there's an heir apparent in the college basketball realm?
There's not. I'm trying to think. What's my man's name?
Seth Greenberg?
Huh?
Seth Greenberg?
Maybe. What's my guy's name that works for y'all at CBS? That man to man. What's my man's name?
Oh,
man.
yeah. Oh God. Yeah, onions. Rafferty. Bill Rafferty. Bill Rafferty. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Rafferty. That's my dude, man. March Madness comes around. He's an OG. He's an OG. That's my guy. He'll never be, Dick Vitale status, but he's pretty close in my opinion. That dude. Yeah. Ooh, start off in man-to-man. Oh, that's cold.
Ooh, with a little kiss.
Yeah, a little kiss.
Glass.
Yeah. Tickle the twine. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff right there.
Bill Raftery.
Yeah. I'm in Grant Hill. They're solid.
Yeah. Well, what college football games are you looking forward to? I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to seeing Tech and BYU. Seems like we got a lot of games at 11 a.m. I mean, Georgia, I want to see a little bit of Georgia, Mississippi State at 11 a.m. on ESPN. We got SMU and Boston College.
Yeah, I don't beat the crap out of them.
Hope so.
After seeing old Bill crash out yesterday, playing that video, that's just, come on, Bill. You got to control your emotions better than that. Like, we're fine. We are fine. We're good. We're positive. Oh, all right, Bill. Whatever you say, bro. You look real good. You look real positive. Everything's
We're 1-8, but we are moving in the right direction. You want to bring that cloud of negativity? We're positive.
Yeah, he told the media guy, I don't know what it was like when you were here, but we're moving in the right direction. Like,
what year did you graduate Boston College? Oh, man.
That's my guy. Greatest.
He's the best of the Belichick tree.
Yeah, greatest Bill Belichick, disciple? What would you call that? Yeah.
Yeah, because Vrabel doesn't count.
Did he ever work as an assistant? He was never like a, scout or anything. He was never analyst, nothing.
Well, let me check.
He had to do something, He had to have like a cup of water, cup of coffee there for a couple of weeks. Because Bill needs something. Right now, the way North Carolina's been, we got to praise Bill in some way. It's been a rough year for Bill.
He started at Ohio State as a coach.
Oh, man.
And then went to the Texans. And then became the head coach of the Titans. Never coached under Bill Belichick. Only played for him.
Wow.
So he don't get no credit. Belichick don't get no credit.
Yeah, why are you so happy to say that?
Because Bill Belichick, the only reason he won was because of Tom Brady.
You're so disrespectful.
I'm telling you the truth. Disrespect. Telling you the truth. That guy, Bill Belichick, undermined Tom Brady.
True.
First of all, Tom Brady won Super Bowls with guys like Rashay Caldwell and Troy Brown, a former defensive back, at receiver. He got Randy Moss for 1 year. Moss wanted a better deal. They shipped him out after he caught 23 touchdown passes and set the NFL record. I mean, Belichick was a disaster without Tom Brady.
Can you count Nick Saban? Wasn't Bill the head coach where Saban was an assistant back in the Browns days? You got to count it. You got to count it. I don't make the rules. Yo, what? Look at your face, man. I don't make the rules. Would Saban be Nick Saban without Bill Belichick? Can we say that? You can't not say it. You can't not say, because we don't know. It happened, even though they're similar in age. It happened.
Now hold on a minute, Rob. Rob's like,
no, Rob's right. You can count.
No, he's not. Is the only reason
he coached under him. What?
No, he's talking about I'm off base about Belichick.
Oh, yeah, you are off base. I'm right there with Rob. Yeah, you're being so disrespectful.
What did Bill Belichick win without Tom Brady as his quarterback?
I can say that about Phil Jackson with Kobe and Shaq and MJ and Pippen. You always have to have good players around you. But you take them over the top with your philosophy, with how you communicate with guys. Yes, coaching. I'm describing coaching right now.
Yeah, but Tom Brady coached the offense.
Oh, man.
He did.
Tom Brady was a gigantic part of New England. But come on, man. You act like Bill Belichick was walking in late with a peanut butter sandwich.
No,
in his
I didn't say that.
Tom Brady was.
He's a great defensive coach. He's a great defensive coach.
He is.
He never wanted to pay Tom Brady what he was worth. It's like being jealous of a child. It's like having a child who starts to get some fame and stardom, and suddenly the dad is jealous. It was weird. And if Tom Brady ever decides to write the tell-all, oh man, we'll have some stuff to talk about. Bill Belichick is a weirdo.
Okay.
Now listen. He's good. He finds his guys. He brought in all those veterans on that 2000 team or whatever, Roman Pfeiffer and Willie McGinnis. And, he found his guys, older guys, Corey Dillon, guys at the end of their career who
Teddy Bruschi.
I mean, he did draft Ty Law. That was a pretty good pick.
Yeah,
but he brought in Rodney Harrison. But he didn't win until Tom Brady started doing his thing.
Oh, man.
Now, he didn't beat Nick Foles because Nick Foles was not to be messed with. Tom Brady threw for 500 in that Super Bowl and got beat. But it's understandable. It's Nick Foles. Big Nick Foles. Got himself a statue outside the link.
Pickleball legend. One of the greatest of all time.
And now look what Belichick is doing to his legacy.
See that
he's getting talked about more in the TMZ right call than he is during the sports portion of the show. It's embarrassing what Belichick is doing. Am I bitter? Am I bitter that he handed off Matt Patricia to the Lions and Matt Patricia destroyed the Lions, and then Matt Patricia shows up and turns out to be like this all-world defensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes? Of course, it helps to have Caleb Downs. Let's see how Matt Patricia does next year.
Arvell Reese is one of the best linebackers in the nation.
He is, but you got to have that commander in the back. You got to have that. You got to have that Legion of Boom.
By the way, speaking of Caleb Downs, did you see his hit the other day that somehow they left him in the game? How is that not targeting? Did you not see that?
No, I didn't see it.
When you get a chance, I might have to send it to you. I would play it, but we'll get in trouble. The dude leaves his feet
Caleb Downs?
Caleb Downs. Just a headshot. Leaves his feet. He's in the air. His helmet connects.
Helmet to helmet?
Like somehow he stayed in the game. They reviewed it and everything. Commentators, they went to wherever the hell they go, to the headquarters where they asked the OG ref that retired, that's been doing for like 40 years. They asked him, what are you seeing? And he's like, I don't know what they're seeing. Like, bro, I think any other safety, any other player, that dude is tossed. You're suspended for the first half of next week's game. The fact that it's Caleb Downs, that might have been the only reason why. It was like when someone gets arrested and it's their first offense. So you're like, oh, okay. It's his first offense. He's never been in trouble before. He's a saint. Like, let's just give him probation or something. Let's not lock him up for 5 to 10.
Parcells drafted Ty Law. My bad.
Oh, my gosh.
Belichick didn't even draft Ty Law.
He was probably in the room.
Now, I'll say this. Belichick was a damn good defensive coordinator. Those defenses won Parcells his 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, those Giants teams. Yeah.
Those Giants teams with freaking, Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carsons and
that away souls. Let my man Chip know. Like, come on. Let my man Chip know. Like, it's just coaching.
All right. Y'all tell yourselves whatever you need to tell yourselves.
Coaching needs something.
That was Tom Brady. TB12, baby. Come on, Rob. I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm just telling you like it is.
No, I love Tom
Brady. They kept trying to draft his replacement, which was smart. Jerry Jones needed to be drafting quarterbacks the way that the Patriots were.
Yeah, man. Jimmy Garoppolo. You see what Jacoby Brissett did to the Cowboys? Come on,
Matt
man.
Matt Castle played 14 years. Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, Bill was hitting up Steve Sarkisian about Matt Castle, asking him, yo, man, this guy ain't play, but can he play? And Sark was like, yeah, Bill, I got you. All right, we picking them up.
Think about that. Think about how Tom Brady just said, yeah, y'all can learn at my feet, and then y'all can move on. Because I'm the commander. I am TB12. And he never did a flex, never pulled a Aaron Rodgers.
What does that mean?
He wasn't demanding, who the personnel should be.
Oh, okay.
When he wanted Randy Moss, they shipped Randy right out of town. Like every player Tom Brady liked, except, Julian Edelman and Wes Welker, because they were
perfect for that slot.
Yeah, perfect for the system. They were dirt cheap because Julian Edelman was just trying to find anywhere on the roster where he could stick. He was he learned how to play receiver with the Patriots.
I love that dude. Talk about just a football player.
Football player.
That's all he was, man. And he's just a hilarious guy. Like, I hear him in media and stuff. I know he has his podcast. He tells great stories. He's just a straight up dude football guy that anyone would want to have a beer with. So it makes sense why him and Brady bonded like they did during those championship days.
I almost need to hear from Rob. I wish.
Rob, go at him.
Yeah, Rob, how am I so off base?
Go at his credentials, man. Go.
What did Bill Belichick? He had good defenses, but he wasn't winning nothing without Tom Brady.
Yo, man.
You know I'm right.
Yo, nah. If Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, Bledsoe wins that ring in 01. Get out of here. Come on, man. That team was that.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
Right. I can't say that, but we don't know.
And I will give the Patriots credit in that Super Bowl win over the greatest show on turf Rams. They beat the crap out of those Rams receivers. They were so physical with them. To Bucky Jones, I covered that Super Bowl, and I wrote a story quoting to Bucky Jones saying, they can't get open if they can't get off press coverage.
Oh, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce.
Oh, they manhandled those Rams receivers, and then they changed all the rules. They changed all the rules.
Yeah.
Now you can't hit them beyond 5 yards. All that. Yeah, man.
Which is crazy because you mentioned that, and you wonder why wasn't that happening to guys like Jerry Rice? And it's because Jerry Rice's release game was just too proper. It was just too vicious. You try to pressure up, I get that footwork on you. Get off me. I'm in my route. I'm in my stride. And Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, it wasn't like those guys were scrubs. These dudes, they're in Canton, aren't they? Or Torrey Holt's about to be. Isaac Bruce, close. They put up numbers for those Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner teams. Best show on turf. That was a good time. But yeah.
Man, I appreciate Rob. Rob is a throwback, man. Rob is he's a throwback. He's like Belichick. Belichick's the reason the Patriots won. See, Rob hates Tom Brady because Brady left and won another Super Bowl without Bill. Brady went down to Tampa during COVID, got all those players together. They were getting tickets for being out in the park and not social distancing because Brady was like, we're going to have practice. So y'all get out here. And he turned Antonio Brown into a Super Bowl winner. Tom Brady did.
What does that mean?
Now he had some help because he had.
You mean one of the greatest talents that we've ever seen at wide receiver?
Yeah, but he was a psycho, and at that point, he was coming off the rails. Bruce Arians helped with that too. Not gonna lie, because Arians had him in Pittsburgh. Arians is one of the best coaches. His career, he'll get the credit for the Super Bowl win in Tampa, and he deserves it. He deserves more credit than that. He took the Colts. Remember when Chuck got sick? Arians took over. That team went to the moon, and so Brady and Arians together, it's pretty good pair. But I love that Rob's diehard Belichick, man.
Appreciate it.
I am diehard Brady. Hey, the quarterback makes the coach. Vince Young, Colt McCoy. The quarterback makes the coach. Now, Saban was different. Saban is the greatest of all time because Saban had his way of doing things, and then when the game started to change, he changed. He went from pro style, run first, defense, complementary football, to Lane Kiffin. Get over here. We're gonna go fast. We're gonna spread. We're gonna wing it. We're gonna score.
Yeah.
And
let them know, Rob. Let them know who Saban learned from, though. Where Saban pick all that game up from? Huh? What was going on in the 90s?
Saban learned from Bill Parcells.
Oh, my gosh, man.
I'm just kidding with you. Hey.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hey, Saban's better than Bill.
Oh, yeah. I'll take Saban over Bill.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest.
Our man Nick was listening to his wife, the way Sally made him pop up like that. Yeah, look whose marriage is lasting too.
Sit up.
Sit up.
Sit up.
Yo,
We'll bring you a birthday cake. Sit up.
Yo, I'm 74 years old. Can you just hand it to me?
Can I just sit in my recliner?
Yeah, come on.
Sit up.
Hey, that's hilarious. But
That's good. That's good. I like that. I like that.
I hope Jordan ain't treating Bill like that because she hasn't earned that yet. Like Sally, Miss Terry's earned that. Like Jordan, if she's doing that to Bill right now, which a big part of me feels like she is, I feel like she's a little demanding. She looks a little aggressive, you know. And I also feel like Bill likes that, though. I feel like Bill's kind of a submissive guy, which ain't nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
You know what Bill likes? He likes bouncing quarters off that 24-year-old booty. That's what Bill likes.
What is that?
Bill is chugging Viagra like I chug iced tea. You know what I mean? He's having the time of his life. His team sucks. His general manager is the worst. Like, he is so exposed right now, and he doesn't care because he's doing mermaid photo shoots on the beach with Jordan Hudson.
Hey, it always wins. It's undefeated. Undefeated.
I mean, when we saw
when they traded
who took the video of Bill Belichick sneaking out the back door from
that was a ring camera, I think. Man. Which I don't know how that got out. I don't know who hacked into whoever's ring camera to get that video, but that was a wild time. Like, why was his shirt off?
Right.
Now, I feel him. Like, we've all done that. We've all had to sneak out old girl crib. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like,
but
her parents just got home or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You do it when you're like early 20s. You know what I'm saying? College days.
Not when you're 70. Hey, man, you got to love Belichick, though, because he's wearing these ratty-ass sweatshirts. Like, he's just written a book, and he's on 60 Minutes, and he's wearing some ripped to shreds Navy sweatshirt. And the interviewer, you know, is dressed nice, is asking him questions. How'd y'all meet? We're not talking about that. Jordan from 20 feet away. Her 24-year-old ass. We're not talking about that. I'm the captain now. Jordan's the captain now.
But maybe he wants that, though. Maybe he's just a submissive guy.
Listen, of course he does.
With women.
Of course he does. He's telling all of his other 70-year-old buddies, Nick Saban.
No, Miss Terry ain't having that.
Hey, Nick.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Let me tell you about last night.
Ain't no way. Nick don't want to hear that.
Let me tell you about last night.
Nick does not want to hear that. Absolutely not. He's like, no, you're not getting me in trouble. You're not getting me called up. They probably cut Bill off, to be honest. That's probably for the best. That's the last person you want to be hanging out with if you're Nick Saban right now. Because, that's just...
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that juju. You don't want that bad
juju. Yeah, Miss Terry thinking you.
Miss Terry's like, you are not hanging out.
Yeah, she ain't having it.
You are not hanging out with Bill Belichick anymore. I don't care.
Okay, honey. That's fine. I don't
care about all your years together back in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You are not hanging out. What are you doing talking to me?
Huh? It's undefeated.
It's undefeated, of course.
Yeah, that's why the Jets had to trade Sauce Gardner. That's why they had to get rid of him, because he's with the rapper, singer Ice Spice. She just dropped a video today. Ain't no way he's locked in. Ain't no way. This is the same thing with Klay Thompson and Meg Thee Stallion. These guys aren't locked in. Klay's been horrible this year. Horrible. Mavs, the worst team in the West. Worst team in the West. Like, everybody wants to blame Nico, which I understand, but still.
Okay, so hold on a minute, Rob. Rob says, I put money on Jordan Hudson being the one to release the ring cam. Okay. So is Jordan the one bringing him down?
Oh, duh.
Well, no. Bill hired Mike Lombardi, who is getting blamed for everything that's gone wrong in North Carolina. Let's bring in Lance Taylor, our SEC insider and prognosticator. Lance'sLock.com for the picks. LT, do you think that it was Jordan Hudson who released the ring cam footage of Bill Belichick sneaking out of her place?
It had to be, right?
It had to be.
Yeah. Like, there is no way, even as much as we love sports, like, if I saw that, I wouldn't be like, damn, there's Bill Belichick. Like, and there's no way, like, he set up that Airbnb, because it wasn't Airbnb, right?
Oh, that's what it was?
Is that what it was?
I thought it was, and there's no way, like, he's going to put his name on that agreement or whatever. So it's not like whoever owned that was like, oh, damn, there's Bill Belichick. So, yeah, I think 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you give more credit for the Patriots' success, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady now. I mean, you kind of have to, right? Because he goes to Tampa and he thrives and, you know, goes to the playoffs every year and wins a Super Bowl with Tampa. And, you know, Tampa only for the second time in their organization's history. And Bill Belichick on the other end, I think, goes to the postseason one time with Mac Jones as a rookie quarterback. He's out of the league now. And although I will say North Carolina, and it was against a shitty Syracuse team, they're playing better football. And I fully expect them to win this week for whatever that's worth. So, you know, they're still terrible, but they're doing it without a starting quarterback.
North Carolina is playing
Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford. They can beat Stanford.
Yeah,
right?
I think they will. I think they will beat Stanford, and I don't know what that says. Does that mean, hey, like, we're building here, and let's make sure he stays for another year? I don't know what that future is. I mean, that's all we need is another job opening, right?
Yeah. So does Bill Belichick get credit for Nick Saban?
I don't think he gets – I mean, some credit you got to give it to him. I mean, if we're going to say Saban gets credit for Kirk Cignetti and Lane Kiffin, I think Bill Belichick's got to get a little credit for Nick Saban. And again, I don't want to discount what Bill Belichick's done, but I mean, it was these guys work so well hand in hand, Brady and Belichick, and it's the reason they won all these Super Bowls. But I mean, when you look at the aftermath, when they parted ways, one had a lot of success, one didn't. But I don't want to discredit what Belichick's done because I still think, you know, I mean, you look at other great coaches in the history of the NFL, they all had great players, right? So, like, you're not going to win a championship without great players and great quarterbacks. So I still think Belichick, I would say, he's the best to ever do it. Sean McVay will be that guy soon, LA Rams head coach. But for now, we'll go Belichick.
Hey, let's say before we get to college, since you mentioned your Rams, because Chip and I, when we talk about Matt Stafford, it's just like in awe. Like, I don't know if there's been 5 quarterbacks better at just throwing the ball. There might be 5 quarterbacks better overall, but just the release, man, he's still throwing no-lookers. Like, Lance, he looks like he can play another 5 years. I know you were a little hesitant about, like, his injury history and stuff like that, but right now he's still just one of those guys that, he's a future Hall of Famer for sure, right?
Yeah, for sure. First ballot guy, in my opinion. I think he did enough when he won a Super Bowl in 21 to be that guy. But now we're talking about, you know, just an incredible career. And it's interesting, 2 things. The reason I was 5 minutes late, I was meeting with a new client, and I just rolled into the house to get set up here. But he's a Detroit guy, and he showed up and he had a Lions hoodie on like you, Chip. And so, you know, I started talking about the Rams, and we were talking about Stafford, and he was talking about how much Stafford meant to the community and all that kind of stuff. And I brought that up, Zay. I was like, to me, as good as he was in 21 and as good as he was those days with Detroit, he's playing his best football right now at 38 years old. And I just took a flyer, and I've never done this in my life. I bet him at plus 5,300 to win the MVP. So, like, if he can stay healthy, again, like, that's a big if, but if he can stay healthy the way he's playing, getting Devontae Adams involved in that offense, I think currently right now he is playing better than any quarterback in the NFL, which is insane. I think he is the MVP, 21 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions up until this point. I think they're the best team in the NFL. Now, this could all fall apart. I mean, they're going to San Francisco this week. I'm going to LA next week for the first time to go to SoFi. They've got Seattle, who I think might be second best team in football. So they could lose these next two and be sitting at 6-4 before you can blink. And, he could be out with an injury. But I'm just saying right now in this moment, I think he's playing better than anybody. I think they're playing better than anybody as a team.
Yeah. The Rams are scary. That was a great draft when they got Verse and Fisk.
Yeah, that pass rush is absolutely insane. And, when you added a piece like Devontae to Puka, and again, health is so important when it comes to the NFL, but the offensive line's only giving up 13 sacks. So they're keeping clean pocket for him. He's throwing well. We had Dan Orlovsky on the show. We've got him on every Thursday. Calm down. And he was talking about what you said about the throws. He was like, he threw a 35-yard in on Sunday, a no-look 35-yard in. He's like, I don't know how many quarterbacks in the league can throw that, even in their 20s, but he's doing it like no look. He was, and Orlovsky played with him in Detroit for a little bit when he was y'all's backup chip. But he's such a good dude. I love me some Matt Stafford. Probably my favorite Ram of all time.
How about that? You've never been to SoFi?
I've been to SoFi on the outside. The girl I date, and you've met her before, Chip, she is from L.A., and so I met her in Nashville a few years ago, and we went out there. We'd been together for a few months, and we went out to hang out with some of her friends, and she's like, let's go to SoFi. And so I thought I was going to get a tour, and we get there, and the only thing open is the pro shop. So I got to see the pro shop. I got to peer in, but I didn't get to see everything that was SoFi. So I'm super excited next week if USC can hold on against Northwestern tomorrow night, and if Iowa can upset Oregon, then I'm going to see a 7-2 Iowa in the Coliseum against the 7-2 USC, which could be maybe that fourth team in the Big Ten. So I get to see that, and then I get to see Seahawks Rams on Sunday. So super excited about that.
Well, that's a super segue into Iowa, Oregon. I like Iowa to cover.
Yeah, here's the problem with Iowa. As good as the defense is, and the offense is better. I mean, they're scoring over 31 points per game, so this is probably the best offense Kirk Ferentz has had in forever. And Mark Gronowski, quarterback that's doing it with his legs, he's not going to wow you with the numbers, but they haven't beaten a ranked team since 2021. And although Oregon, if you go back, their biggest win of the year was on the road in Happy Valley against Penn State in double overtime, that win has taken on a lot more water. Now, Penn State was whole with Drew Aller, and they were still playing for everything. They were undefeated. The atmosphere was juiced. But Oregon 3-0 on the road this year. They've won 10 straight on the road. And what they've done on the road, outgaining opponents by 252 yards, overall offensively on the road. Oregon's a pretty good road team. I don't know how good they are. Iowa City's a really difficult place to play. I would take the points right now, but I don't know if I love it. But I'm pulling for Iowa to win this game.
Yeah. Lance, as of right now, Texas going into Athens next weekend. They are a 5.5 underdog. Do you think that is accurate right now? And how do you think Georgia's going to do against Mississippi State this Saturday?
So, and I might have said it with you guys, I've said it quite often that I believe Mississippi State is the most improved team this year. Now, is it Indiana last year improved? Probably not, but Mississippi State is in every game. The only game they haven't been in is when they went to College Station and they got blown out by A&M. But outside of that, every game has been a one-possession loss. They finally got over the hump. The 18 penalties, which is insane, from Arkansas this past week in Fayetteville, played into that a little bit. But Jeff Levy's done a great job. They're not only keeping these games extremely close, they're covering. They're 9-1 their last 10 against the number, but like the offense is pretty good, over 33 points per game. Defense is kind of middle of the road. But by far, if you watch Mississippi State the last couple of years to where they are right now, it's light years ahead. And I think if Jeff Levy pulls off this upset, which is a possibility. I mean, Georgia, they've only got 8 sacks all year. That is the worst in the SEC. The pass rush just isn't there. They're not wowing anybody offensively. They look so off, and not only are they struggling to win games, and they're finding a way to win. So I give them credit. They've only had the one loss, but they're 6-14, their last 20 against the spread. They're not covering these. So I think I would play Mississippi State here. Mississippi State's playing with a lot of confidence. my point was going to be, if Mississippi State wins this game, which is very possible, I think Jeff Lebby is a guy, and whether or not he would leave, I don't know. But I think he's a guy that will start being talked about when you look at all of these jobs that are open.
Interesting.
BYU at Texas Tech. This game is enormous for Texas Tech after losing to Arizona State without Baron Morton at quarterback. What do you see for this one, LT?
Look, they've outscored opponents, Texas Tech, and look, this money from Cody Campbell's obviously paying off defensively, especially. But they've outscored opponents by over 30 points per game, which is the second biggest margin right now in the FBS, behind only Indiana, who has been dusting everybody. I think the defense is legitimate. Now that Will Hammond is out, you don't have anybody to fall back on necessarily if Morton was to get hurt again. And I don't want to doubt Kalani Sitake. I know we talked about Bear Bachmeier, and you were, having fun with the number that he wears as a true freshman. But Kalani Sitake's won 19 of their last 21 games. I mean, this is a team that plays well together. I doubted them against Utah because I still think Utah's a better team than BYU, but BYU won the game. So they're catching 10.5 here. Kind of reminds me last week where I told you guys, I think I loved Utah minus the 10.5 at home against Cincinnati. And everybody's like, why is this number so big? I think a lot of people are saying, why is this number so big? So that scares me a little bit. The number tells me Texas Tech's going to cover, but every time I doubt BYU, they find ways to win. And Bachmeier's not making mistakes. He's an athletic guy. He's already got 9 rushing touchdowns. LJ Martin, the Big 12 leading rusher, is back in the lineup. They're 7-2 against the spread their last 9 out. So, if you look at all this stuff, 19th in scoring offense for the Cougars, 16th in scoring defense, 10.5 points is way too many. In most instances, I would definitely lay it here because the number is so odd. But because it's BYU, I'm probably just going to completely stay away from the game. So I don't know if I answered any of that. I think both these teams are really good. And just a side note, you guys have probably talked about this. If the Big 12 wants to get 2 teams in, they really need Texas Tech to win this game and then have a rematch between Texas Tech and BYU, and then one loss BYU beats Texas Tech in the championship game, and then I think you could possibly get 2 in.
Yeah, talk about the rankings a little bit, Lance. What else did you notice about the first set of college football playoff rankings that came out this week? What shocked you, surprised you, and maybe what didn't?
Yeah, I think, I used this little exercise. I threw this out yesterday. And I was like, imagine, did you guys ever see the movie Hard to Kill with Steven Seagal in the 80s?
Yeah, classic.
Kill, baby. That movie's about the Georgia Bulldogs.
So, but, it's true. It is. But in that movie, I forgot who shot him, but he's in a coma for months, and then he wakes up and goes out and gets his revenge. But if I was to ask you guys, if you were in a coma from August until the first rankings and all you did was roll that sumbitch out and looked at it, what's the first thing that would jump? There's so many things that are crazy. If you go back to August to where these first rankings are, first of which, no Clemson. Clemson's not in the top 25 in the ACC. Blows me away. LSU, not in the top 25. Blows me away. Those are the first things that jump out. Indiana at number 2 right now, although they were that good last year. There's just a lot of things about that are crazy. But back to the initial rankings, the way the committee backloaded the Big Ten, look, there's gonna be a bias for the SEC and the Big Ten every year. The Big Ten, we know Indiana, Ohio State, and Indiana are both in. If Oregon wins this weekend, it's going to be difficult for them to be out. They're looking for that 4th team, and I think that's why you lined up, Iowa and USC and Washington, and you've got all these backloaded teams because they're trying to get that 4th team in. No Group 5 in the top 25. Wasn't surprised because you've got to have one, and there's no reason to waste one of those spaces on it. Everybody says Memphis should have been there. Memphis lost to UAB. So I got no problem with Memphis being out. I mean, one of those teams is going to get there. But those were kind of the takeaways from me. And I think 2 of the first round games they got right now would be really good, and 2 would be blowouts. Ole Miss would wax Virginia, and I think Georgia would probably do the same to Memphis. But outside of that, those other 2 first round games, Oregon at Texas Tech, and then what was the other one? Notre Dame and BYU. Those are good games.
What odds do you give Texas to go to Georgia and win?
Well, it's going to be a tight game. And finally, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, it looks like Sark is like, okay, Arch, passes over 20 yards. He's just not accurate right now. So let's let him play point guard and let's give him some easier throws and let's let these great athletes in space take over. And so I think that's the formula for success for this Texas team. And I do think Texas's defense is good enough to win them a championship. I think they got a great shot. I really do. The thing that bothers me a little bit is much like Kirby Smart has a Bama problem. We've talked about this. Sark and Texas have a Georgia problem. And there's something about that, and it gets between guys' heads or in their heads. And so I think Georgia's got the mental advantage here, but they're playing everybody tight to the vest. And there's just not – if this was the old school Georgia team that can attack the quarterback, I think they could fluster Arch, especially on the road, and get to him. But they can't get to the quarterback right now. So I think it's going to be a great game. Georgia, if they take care of business, beat State, Georgia's probably a 6-point favorite, but it's not going to be over a touchdown. So I think it's in play. And I think if Texas wins that one, then it's a one-game situation against A&M, whether or not you get in. And there's still a possibility if we have a ton of carnage in the month of November, there's a possibility. I wouldn't want to be there because Alabama was there last year with 3 losses, and they were the last team out, and SMU got in. But there's a possibility Texas could get in with 3 losses.
Yeah. I'm looking at – you look at the rankings – like Oregon, I don't even know how good Oregon is.
I don't either, Chip. I don't. I think their defense is actually better than their offense, but I don't know how good they are. I have no idea. I don't know how good any of these. Like, one of my co-hosts today was like, the only team I know that is really good is Ohio State. And I was like, I feel it too, but they played one elite defense, and Julian's saying they only scored 14 points at home. And I know it was his first start, but I've just got to see more of this. I think we are in for a truly fascinating college football playoff this year. Because I think, 8 of the 12 that get in probably have a realistic chance of winning this thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. We've got what's the other game that I was all excited about?
Alabama, LSU.
Well, A&M, Missouri. Is Missouri's third string quarterback good enough to keep Missouri in this game so that Damon Wilson can wreak havoc on Marcel Reed?
So wait, so is Zoller's not playing, or is Zoller's the third guy?
Zoller's the third guy. Okay, there was some other guy that was also supposed to be.
When Zollers came in against Vanderbilt, I didn't think he was bad. And I'm talking about away from that final Hail Mary. I thought, he looked like the moment wasn't too big. They've lost 5 straight to ranked opponents, but this is a really good Missouri defense. Missouri right now leads the SEC. They're 5th in the FBS in total defense. So I think their defense can keep them in this game. We haven't seen a Marcel Reed shit the bed moment. And look, he's played really, really well, but I've been waiting for that moment. This is a Texas A&M team that they're way over penalized, almost 8 penalties a game. So, you get some of these penalties that travel. You have a couple of bad moments from your quarterback. I think Missouri's got every opportunity to win this game. They're 9-3-1, their last 13 against the spread. I like Missouri plus the points, plus the 7 here. I think it's going to be a great game.
Alabama, LSU.
Yeah, it's funny how that one is kind of the forgotten game, Zay. Interim coach now with LSU, Frank Wilson, a much respected recruiter from the state of Louisiana, has taken this thing over. LSU's offense has been awful. Held to 25 points or fewer in all 7 of their games against Power 4s. Alabama, they're cooking along right now. They have won 12 of 14 against LSU, which is kind of crazy because you consider this one of the more important rivalries as far as like positioning for the college football playoff every year. But Alabama's been dominating this series, and they're 11-0 at home against under DeBoer. They've won 16 straight at home, longest win streak in the FBS currently. I think Alabama wins the game, and I think they cover. I just haven't seen Alabama play a full 4 good quarters. I think Alabama fans are scared to death because you've got a new play caller coming in, and Kane Womack, the defense coordinator. Sometimes that gets a little tricky, and then you get a galvanized team behind an interim coach. Sometimes they play a little bit harder than they've played in the past. So I think those are scary elements to this game. But Alabama's yet to lose a game in the SEC. So I think they've got that benefit. Nussmeier in this offense, they haven't been good. And Alabama does lead the SEC in turnover margin. So Alabama flipping a couple of these turnovers at home under DeBoer, I think they should be fine.
Navy have any chance to cover?
No. Well, cover, yeah, maybe. I just wonder, watching last week, Boston College maybe played their best game against this Notre Dame team, and I thought Notre Dame would just gash them on the ground. I mean, their only path, Navy's only path, is Blake Horvath to play an incredible game. And for them, they lead the FBS 317 rushing yards per game. If they can keep Notre Dame's offense off the field, this is a really good Notre Dame offense. It's got a lot of balance. CJ Carr, to me, is the best quarterback that Marcus Freeman's had. And then you look at, you can make a case that Love could be the best player in college football. And then you got Price back there. Really, really good offense. They've been covering 14-6 their last 20 against the number. I think Notre Dame probably wins it going away. Are you pulling for Navy or? Yeah,
Notre Dame hasn't beaten anybody.
They haven't. I'll give you that. But would you give me this? I think Miami was better. I mean, it's November when Cristobal is losing games. Miami much better week 1. That was CJ Carr's first start. It was on the road. It was a one-possession game. And then they had to do everything in their power to lose that game at home at night against A&M. But I do give you, they haven't beaten anybody. And if USC loses a couple of games down the stretch, there's a good chance they won't have any ranked wins at the end of the year. But we know this. Where they're ranked right now, 10th, they're getting in if they win out.
All right, I know you got to bounce. What's going on at lanceslock.com?
Man, we had an incredible week last week. This week has been a shaky start. I try to be transparent with all your guys out there. But last week, just for the record, we were 24-10. We were 7-0 on our free plays. We were 10-2 in college football. We were up 62 stars on the week. We've been killing the NFL. Like, if you want to win, jump on board and win with us because we are smoking. Again, had a rough night last night. But we've got college football, we've got the NFL, we've got it all up and available tonight, this Thursday night. Jump on and win with us. Play us this weekend. If you don't want to play, you can play daily, $25 package. Monthly is only $100, but you can just play the free play. Monitor us, and if you want to jump on board, do it. But we've been doing it for 12 years. We've won 10 of those years. We've had a great year thus far, and we'll continue to win for you at lanceslock.com.
And the Dodgers won the World Series. How about that?
What a freaking game Saturday night. I never in my life, going back to 2020, before I went from the Gap in 1988, where I was grounded, game 1 of that World Series. I watched it at home, 16 years old. Kirk Gibson, one of the great sporting moments for me. From that moment until 2020, like anytime the Dodgers were in the postseason, I had to watch every pitch. But after they finally won it, I wasn't as engaged. So I was really pissed off this thing went 7 games because it took away one of my TVs on Saturday night. But because of this stupid ass ESPN dispute and YouTube, I welcomed it. I watched every pitch, and boy, it was exciting.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
All right, LT, you're the best. Let's do it again next week.
Okay, you boys enjoy the games. Thank y'all as always.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Get over to lanceslock.com. All right. We love our Thursdays around here because we go from Lance Taylor to Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl.
Fellas.
Of course, former GM in college football at Auburn, West Virginia, and national scout for the Dallas Cowboys, who did some wheeling and dealing. Drew. Quinnen Williams, a second rounder in 26, a first rounder in 27. Did they overpay for a guy 7 years in the league, or
depends what they think he is? I mean, is he really going to be an impactful pass rusher? I mean, if put it this way, if he can help stop the run, he's worth every penny right now. I mean, then can he be an impactful pass rusher? If he can do both, yeah, he's worth that. But if he's just a 2-down run stopper that's not going to help in pass rush, which I think he will, he may be worth that. It's all in the eye of the beholder and how the defensive coordinator is going to use him. So, I mean, I can't say how. Put it this way, I can't say he's worth that until they decide what they're going to do with him and what he does. Because
Logan Wilson, the linebacker from the Bengals.
sub backer, good athlete. I'm sure they needed help there. He wasn't put this way. He wasn't brought on to probably be the run stopper. He's not a thumper. He's a sub backer. He's good in coverage. He was always a good athlete. Coming out of YO, he was a special athlete. So I'm sure they're going to use him as a sub backer. And, if Lou said thought that was important, I'm sure it was for him, because I know they're lean at backer. I mean, really lean, right?
Yeah. And Kenneth Murray's been awful.
Yeah. So. Well, again, you can't hit them all. I mean, if you're, everybody else says if you're 50% in the league, you're pretty good, which is true.
Well, all right. So, interesting times in college football. What did you think of Texas in their win over Vanderbilt?
Didn't get to see it. Can you guess why?
YouTube TV.
You got it. And who's been the biggest proponent of damn YouTube TV on this show and every show he's been on, right? Me. Well, guess what? I'm not going to sit in a sports bar for 12 hours, okay, and try to figure this out. I mean, both of them, ESPN and YouTube TV, need to figure this the hell out. There's an acronym, FIFO, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Because I don't do this for fun. I mean, this is work for me. Now, for the people that enjoy it and, have to have it too, I get it. But this made my Sunday incredibly long because I had to come in and watch game tape of almost every single one that I wanted to see. And there were other ones I got to see, whichever one wasn't on ABC or ESPN, I got to see. But, man, wish I could tell you. Put it this way, I thought they had it well under. I watched the game tape, but it's still not the same feel because you're watching offense and defense separately, And the thing is I thought they had it well in hand, and then Bobby and those guys started making some plays, right? I mean, bottom line, I said that ain't your grandpa's Vandy anymore. It's not.
Yeah,
they're competitive, are they not? And they play pretty good defense, right?
Yeah. They they're good. They're good on the lines of scrimmage. I thought it was an impressive showing from Arch Manning. They made some changes on the offensive line that they probably look back on and think they probably should have made a lot earlier, but they put some more experience on the offensive line and the line held up. So now here they are.
And he got rid of the ball. He got the ball out of his hand quicker too.
Yeah.
He made it easy for him to make his reads, which was really good for him because I think it. Like I said, I was watching offense. I can't see the game flow, but it looked like he started to get into a rhythm.
Yep.
And like I told you, I mean, until that game slows down in your head and physically, it's hard to play the game. I mean, it's hard because when you can't make decisions quick, I mean, this game will eat your ass alive. It will. So I think it's slowing down more and more for him. Again, the more experience he gets, ding, 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 the better he gets, right?
Yeah.
So, Drew, from what you got to see over the weekend, what stood out for you from college football?
I'm kind of surprised, how damn good Ohio State is, and for them to be giving up 7 points a game and 213 yards of total offense. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I still don't think they've given up a touchdown in the first half. I don't think they have. Now, you got to go way back. I mean, to have one of the greatest defenses of all time was with Switzer and Larry Lacewell being a coordinator at Oklahoma, where they gave up 6 per game with the Selman brothers. And I mean, they had some flipping beasts, right? Well, fast forward to USC with Pete Carroll, right? I think it was that 909 with Myluga and that whole crew, Frosty Rucker and that group.
04.
Okay, 04. They were 6.8 per game, right? And if they can hold on to what they're doing now, I mean, in college football these days, as wide open as it is and how unfriendly it is to defense, 7 points a game is flipping phenomenal. I mean, it is. You're not going to lose many games giving up 7 points a game now. You're really not. I was impressed just how in control they were of that game, because Penn State has a lot of dudes running around that are going to play on Sunday. Now, having the quarterback not there, that hurt them, but they still have a lot of really good players. And they had that well in hand. As soon as that second half flicked over, I was like, "Oof, it's going to be a long day now for Penn State," because it was like bam, bam right off the bat. And defense caused them some issues now.
Yeah.
How good is Arvell Reese to you?
I really liked what Patricia's doing with him, because before he was kind of a bubble backer. He was an off the ball guy. I like what he's doing with him, putting him off the edge, moving him inside, putting him, making him an A bullet, bringing him inside. He's kind of using him like Dan Quinn used to use, persons. I mean, he's chess piecing him, but he's also screwing with people's protection because they don't know where he's going to line up. It's like, well, do I count him as a Mike? Do I slide the protection? Do I put the back on him? I mean, because dude's a big man now, and you better have a good sized back that's going to step up protection. Because if you don't, he's going to eat him up, And then he's faster than I'll get out coming off the edge, so he gives tackles an issue. So, I mean, he is that good. He is, And the one people keep forgetting about because nobody throws it at him is this safety. I mean, let's just be real. And I already told you, I mean, he's the closest thing to Ed Reed that I've seen ever. Ever. And
I mean, is he a number 1 pick in the draft? Good.
I don't think you can ever take a guy that plays in the back end, that high. I mean, you could, but I mean, how many opportunities are you going to get, at an all-pro? Now people are always going to say you take a tackle, you take a quarterback, you take, maybe the receiver, and then the rusher, right? That's it. I mean, then it's like, okay, how much more impactful can he be? Let's say he gets 6 picks a year. Is that worth the first pick of the draft?
I mean, if he's the leader and gives your defense all the confidence in the world, yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just telling you that the history of the league is not going to take a safety with the first pick.
Yeah.
They're just not. Now I could be totally wrong, because some of these young guys that are running teams now, as Brandon Bean said, I think it was yesterday, some of these dudes think it's fantasy football.
Yeah.
They don't understand what it does to your team when you just dislodge, foundational players off of your roster, and you lose foundational guys. Do you ever really replace them? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So, yeah.
Earl Thomas went 14th overall.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of Earl Thomas. I mean, he just covers ground.
He's bigger.
He's bigger than Earl.
He's bigger than Earl.
So
he can drop down and insert. He could be your money linebacker. I mean, he could be your dime backer. He could be your free safety. He could be your strong safety. I mean, it's nice to be that versatile. I mean, he could be your big nickel too, if you really wanted him to. So, I mean, I'm impressed with him. And, people say, "Oh, he's not putting numbers," because nobody's throwing it at him.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody. I mean, and put it this way, nobody's had the time to throw it at him either.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he's running coverages that, make the quarterback hold the ball. I mean, if he's patrolling in the third, if he's in the post, I mean, I could see him, making plays on, 10, 15 balls. I could see that. So I've been raving about it from day one. So, I mean, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see Arvell Reese go ahead of him, though.
Okay.
Why is that?
Because of he's a drive ender. And it's always the left tackle that keeps your quarterback from being ended, a drive being ended. A corner is a drive ender. right? Because you can take away half of the field, with one receiver, or you make play on the ball, so you're going to take a drive ender before you're going to take a safety. You just are. And again, I love the way the kid plays, and I know he's going to be successful, but I would not be surprised if Arvell Reese does not go ahead of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Texas Tech and BYU. This is the Super Bowl for the Big 12.
Yep.
Your thoughts on this game and what you're watching?
I would be sure. I mean, I'm gonna put it this way. If I were coordinating at Texas Tech, I would make sure that big quarterback is accounted for in the run. Okay. And I would wholesale make him throw to beat me. That's what I would do. Texas Tech is NFL Sunday guys is more talented than BYU. Okay. Now, is Barron going to play good? Are they going to be able to run the ball? The receivers, Virgil and flipping Douglas, good players, really good players. And defensively, they're good. So I want to see how BYU is going to run the ball, if they can run the ball, because if they can run the ball, they'll be in the game. If Texas Tech takes it away from him and says, go ahead, Brockmeyer, you've got to beat us with your arm, he may not be able to do that. He's a good quarterback, but he's young, he's big. I don't know if he can make those decisions fast enough with those two guys coming off the edge, because, Romello Height and, Bailey, they're real. And he's not going to have a lot of time. So I'm just looking forward. Like I said, I'm wanting to see if BYU can to stick with the game plan that they've been successful with all year, which is run the ball with the quarterback and beat people up, be physical, and don't make the quarterback have to throw his way out to win.
Drew, Oregon going to Iowa. This is a big time game that I know a lot of Texas fans are looking into, especially with where Oregon's placed on the college football playoff rankings. But this looks like a game that could be very worrisome game for Oregon, especially with how good Iowa's playing right now. Your thoughts?
The Oregon thing, I know they play pretty good defense. Dante Moore, everybody's raving about him. But it'd be good for him to stick around another year and grow. They're talented in certain spots. I think they've kind of underachieved offensively on what they have, because they got 4 guys in the offensive line that are going to play on Sundays. And they got a tight end going to play on Sunday. They got 2 receivers going to play on Sunday. They're defensively, though, they play pretty well. Iowa, if the quarterback can throw it well enough, okay, they got a chance, because they're going to run it. Iowa is going to run it, and they run it well, because the head man is an old offensive line coach, and they're one of the best zone run scheme teams around. So I'm interested to see how Oregon's D-line holds up against their offensive line, because Iowa's got 2 to 3 Sunday guys too, on their offensive line. So, that should be a really good game. I just, Iowa's not that hard a place to play. It's not really that loud, and it's opened up a little bit. It's not high and it's not tight. So the sound kind of escapes, kind of like the Big House at Michigan, same kind of thing. Not as flat as the Big House, but not as loud as you would expect. It just doesn't. So I don't know how hard a place that is to play if you're the visitor.
Yeah. What I know you were at Auburn before Hugh Freeze got there, but I'm hearing he probably would not have gotten fired if he could have come up with more than 3 points in that game last Saturday. But he didn't, and he gone. Your thoughts?
Well, you bring a guy in, prolific offense, right? And the last 2 quarterbacks he's brought in were not very good. And if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. And, again, Peyton Thorne, didn't perform well. Jackson Arnold didn't perform well. And the kid from Stanford didn't perform well. Supposedly they got a freshman up there. He's a young kid. He's kind of slight looking right now. But they've got weapons, and they've done a good job recruiting. But I think what got him was just a reputation and not bringing in a top-tier quarterback because they have the money to do that. And, again, for whatever reason, he was like, Jackson Arnold's my guy or Peyton Thorne's my guy. That's, I think, what got him. It was the decision to do that because, again, they're playing defense at an elite level. They really are. And, what they held Kentucky to?
10.
Yeah. Anytime you hold somebody under 16 points, you should win the game. Anytime. So, again, the AD had to make a choice, and, I don't know if he made the right one. I don't know if he made the right one bringing him in. That's up to him, But, I also think that you need somebody to check your head coach, especially with decisions on personnel. Because, I've been wrong a lot, but I've also been right a lot. And the thing is a lot of coaches aren't really good evaluators. They're not, and I wasn't a really good evaluator when I was coaching either because I didn't have time to do it. So it was like, once I got time to do it, I go, okay, I'm getting better at this. But I still always admit my deficiencies. Like, am I a great offensive line evaluator? No. Okay. Am I a great, tight end evaluator? Yeah, I am. But there's, you kind of know your strengths and your weaknesses, but also coaches that don't have somebody to check them, that they'll listen to, they're always going to keep the progress stoppers because they feel comfortable with the veterans that they know what they're getting. They're always afraid of the unknown. It was always like, hey, can we get better than this guy? Yes, we can, especially for that money. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Let me show you. And sure enough, they wouldn't let me show them sometimes. It was because, hey, we got to have this guy. He's been here for 3 years. He knows exactly what we're doing. But he's also not as good as even the young guy that's coming in. And the coaches don't want to take that risk. They don't. And I didn't want to take that risk all the time either. But that's what I mean by progress stoppers. Either you don't take a guy to take over, or you have a young one that is better than what you have, but you're so comfortable with what you have. And it's a weird mindset. And I wish that Auburn had somebody that was going, hey, coach, when they were breaking down quarterbacks, this guy's really, he's okay, but there's 3 other guys that are better. Let's go talk to them, Yeah. And
it's like Rick Barnes always said, you need truth tellers in your life.
Yeah. But you also, as a coach and as a personnel person, you got to be self-aware too.
You got to listen.
Yeah. And again, the greatest part I always say when you get, I'm using a mob term, but when you get your bones, right, with your head coach, it's because you told him something that came to fruition, not one time, but came to fruition like 5 times. And he goes, maybe I should go ahead and let him do that all the time now, instead of wasting, 5 hours out of my day, looking at players that he's already approved. You know what I mean? So, you have to have somebody that's comfortable with that. And not a lot of guys are. They're not.
Yeah, good point. Drew, you look at the Miami Hurricanes, and they just lost to Chip's SMU Mustangs, and I don't know where you point your finger at on what's going wrong, where it's Mario Cristobal, Carson Beck. I mean, they have all that talent. I look at that left tackle that they got. That dude's so massive, man. I know the scouts are loving him, and you got Ruben Bain on the other side. What has gone wrong for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to say this to the SMU grad. I would have never in my wildest dream ever thought that I'd say, SMU beat Miami. Ever. And again, SMU's not a bad football team. Everybody acts like, hey, SMU's, kind of pedestrian. No, they're not. No, they're not. The quarterback's special. He is. You want to talk about weird angles? bad footwork. I mean, but the ball's accurate, and they got playmakers all over the field. To say what's going wrong with them, I mean, I keep thinking it's, you got to consistently be more physical and run the football.
Run the ball.
Yes. And Mark Fletcher is a beast. And again, pound them, because, again, they got a bigger front than SMU did. Well, why we got to do this? I mean, why go away from what works best? It's like sometimes guys are too, they don't see the forest for the trees. What's your calling card? I'm sure Mario probably told the offensive coordinator at one point. I mean, he's going to tell him, we better go back to running the damn football, because that's what makes Carson Beck better. That's what makes our weapons better. That's what gets safeties involved with the run game. So, I mean, it's not defensively where they're losing games. I mean, they're solid on defense, and they do a good job. But, to put that on a guy that, and again, what's the worst possible thing you can do? Be a defense and knowing that you're going to have to throw the ball. Because just like the old Indianapolis Colts when they had Peyton, when they were playing from ahead, they were great. When they were playing from behind, they were awful, because people were running the ball, controlling the clock, playing, field position on them. But as soon as Peyton got 2 touchdowns up, here comes Freeney, here comes Mathis, right? Because they're teeing it up. So when you put it that way with Miami, are they good enough outside? Maybe 2 of them. I don't know if they have a third receiver. I don't know if they have a real threat as a tight end. So, again, they're talented in certain areas, but they're not. I don't think they're staying close enough to their DNA. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they ran it 40 times against SMU. But
keep doing it.
Yeah, run it 50 times.
Yeah, keep doing it. And
that's what,
put it this way: how many times have you seen it in overtime? Tell me if I'm using a Derek Dooley term. Tell me if I'm FO. Okay. Why does everybody think that they have to score a damn touchdown, okay, in overtime? You still can get a first down. They act like you have to score in 3 downs. You still can get first downs. Where do you get lost in this? I don't get it. The field's condensed, okay? But why you got to go for shots at the end zone every time? Get another first down.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. It just does. So maybe it's the old defensive guy in me.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. They didn't run it at all. They didn't even try to establish a run against Louisville, and that killed them.
Yes.
Because you could see Beck was not having a good night. So it's like, okay, we're going to run it. Nope.
Yeah. And like you said, in the offensive line, pretty good.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, like you said, the left tackle, he's an enormous human. The right tackle is the one you ought to be watching.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one you need to be watching. Okay? So.
Yeah, all right. So we've got Texas A&M at Missouri. No, A&M handles it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think any team can survive going with a guy that's your third quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do whatever they want to. I mean, but A&M's going to stop the run. They're going to make sure, Ahmad is not successful, and they're going to make the quarterback throw it. And then it's a long night, because A&M will get after your ass. They'll get after your ass pass rush. So, no, I don't see that happening. I just don't.
Yeah, and Texas, let's see, Texas A&M. So Texas A&M is giving up 118 yards per game on the ground. Not bad. But you like Cassius Howell a lot.
Oh, a lot. Big time. The thing is, I mean, like you said, they're giving up that per game, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably not their third quarterback they're playing every week either. So they're going to load the box, and they're going to make the quarterback throw it. They are. And, again, if he can be successful, then they got a chance. But I don't know if they can be successful, because it goes to 3rd and long. It's going to be a long night for that Q now. I mean, because they can get after it now, pass rush wise. And Elko and his D coordinator now, they will test your protections. They will.
What other games are you looking at this weekend, Drew?
There was the one everybody's forgetting about is LSU and Bama.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's just a, circus. I don't know what the hell to call it. It's going on there. They're talking about that instead of talking about the game, because LSU still got talent. I mean, Garrett plays well. They got a chance. Alabama's playing really good on defense. I think they're playing faster because I think they're really accustomed to what Womack's doing on defense now. I think they got that. I think they're better wired now, and I think they understand what they're doing because they're playing fast, and the offense is clicking. I mean, Ty Simpson's high percentage completion rate. I mean, high, and he's really converting third and longs and fourth down conversions like out of this world. I mean, 4th and 8s, and things like that. So, I mean, it's been big,
Yeah, I mean, you look at Alabama, and I mean, right now everyone would project Texas A&M and Alabama in the SEC championship game. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I do. And I think it'll be a hell of a ball game too. I really do.
Zay, you got one more?
Yeah, I do. What rookies in the NFL have you been locked in on that were at the Senior Bowl last year that are doing well right now, Drew?
I got to be honest with you, Zay. I mean, I don't even know all the rookies that were in this. I'm just amazed at how the Senior Bowl quarterbacks have performed. See, I wasn't here last year, so I'm like, okay, I had to go back and check which ones actually played in the game over the last 3 years because I wasn't part of it. So the rookie thing, I don't know, but flipping Herbert, Danny Dimes, and Bo Nix, I mean, big time. I mean, they've really performed well. So, but that's where I sit on that. I wish I could be honest, but I'm just being honest with you. I don't know, because I hadn't.
What did you think
next year when I actually put the roster together?
Gotcha.
What'd you think of the Colts going to get Sauce Gardner?
I think it was a great move. I mean, put it this way, I mean, the Colts are actually feeling they got a chance. They wouldn't have done that if they didn't. So, I mean, that's something they probably thought they needed, and I guess it probably showed up as a deficiency against Aaron Rodgers. And, I was kind of surprised Steelers actually beat them. I really was.
I was too.
I thought they'd go in there, but Mike Tomlin's a hell of a ball coach. People keep forgetting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hate to run on you guys. I got another one right after this. I mean, I'm sorry.
You're good. Appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
All right. See you, brothers.
All right. Drew Fabianich, Executive Director of the Panini Senior Bowl. Some good stuff there.
Yeah, I saw a playmaker on that sideline, the SMU game. He was wilding per usual.
Oh, yeah.
What can you do? What the hell's going on here? Oh, my God. What the hell's going on?
That's good. That's good.
That's not bad.
You got to add that one. You got to add that one to your list with Mike Tyson.
And Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, let's get a couple mentions in here. Guys, you all know that I'm all about the supplements. I'm all about trying to be healthy so I can hang around long enough to, see my kids get married eventually, And so I've collected all these supplements. Like, we have a whole cabinet full of them. And I'm getting ready to throw them all out because I am all about Humann with 2 N's. I mean, here's the thing. The Super Beats Heart Chews, which heart health, guys, heart health. And the Super Beats Heart Chews promote, healthy heart, low blood pressure, 2 times than just, diet and exercise alone. So just by taking these chews, you're going to live better. I mean, this is the #1 recommended supplement from cardiologists in the United States. And here's the thing. The award-winning science behind Humann's products started at the University of Texas Health Science Center. Like, I take all the Humann products. I take the Super Beats powder, which is what all the Texas athletes take. I take the turmeric chews because it's good for, anti-inflammation. I take the Glynocalyx, which is, I call it their magical multivitamin, which is, this stuff, it clears your mind. It makes your body feel better. And here's what you do. You go to humann.com/TSU and use the promo code TSU. And you're going to get an added 20% off your first order. So load up on that first order. I would say get the Super Beats Heart Chews, the Super Beats powder if you're still active and you're working out, the Super Beats powder, the Glynocalyx for sure, and the turmeric chews for sure. You're going to feel so much better. I promise you that. Humann with 2 N's/TSU. Use promo code TSU. All right. Hey, for my guys who are snoring, we got the best resource, and our partnership with the Sleep Cycle Center makes it so easy for you right now to make sure that if you're snoring and you have sleep apnea, that you do something about it, because sleep apnea is a lack of oxygen while you're sleeping. That's scary. Like if you wake yourself up throughout the night, it's because you're gasping for air. You don't need to be in that situation. You need to be in the Sleep Cycle Center getting a sleep study. And because of our partnership with Texas Sports Unfiltered and the Sleep Cycle Center, you go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. They're going to take $100 off your sleep study, practically give it away. And Dr. Chad Denman, who has dedicated his life to treating father at the age of 60, has the best equipment to detect your level of sleep apnea and the best treatment options. Take it from me. I use an oral appliance, the mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open while I'm sleeping, so I get that oxygen that I need. Take care of yourself. Go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. And hey, we're headed toward the weekend. We got football tonight. We got college. We got pro. Get over to Cover 3. I was in Cover 3 yesterday for lunch. Had the blackened chicken and shrimp pasta. Amazing. The Chop House burger, the flatbreads, the $7 social hour menu. You got happy hour every day from 3:30 to 6:30, 3:30 to close on Mondays. You got brunch on the weekends. The breakfast quesadillas, amazing. The do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar. Get into Cover 3. Cover 3 Anderson, Cover 3 Round Rock. And hey, when you're ready for the big screen of your dreams and the holiday season is coming, there's only one call to make in Austin, Texas. That is to audio visual consultations and our man, Tom McKay. Tom has put in big screen TV, surround sound into 3 different houses for me in Austin, my 33 years here. Cannot recommend him highly enough. All you got to do is call 255-8678. 255-8678. Tom and his crew are going to bring everything to you. You just call Tom, and it's like ordering a pizza. That's how easy it is. And he's going to bring it all. You don't need to go lugging TVs around town, punching holes in your drywall. Just call 255-8678. Tom and his crew bring everything to you. They can also handle new lighting, surveillance, electronic shades. It's got you covered. All right, Zay. For the chip shot today, we're going to talk about how Texas has got a second life. We got a second life. They have been doing it the hard way. My son always said, because, he sees me as a journalist, I'm on the phone all the time. I'm writing stories. I'm on the phone all the time. He's like, I'm going to work smarter, not harder. Well, Texas has been working harder because their offensive line has not protected Arch Manning. His growth has been delayed, shall we say, because he's getting hit, blindsided from every which way against Florida and Kentucky. And I'll say this about Arch. He has been in the fire. Like he has had to move in the pocket. He's had to step up and slide and spin out of tackles. And I mean, that experience is going to pay dividends, but it was near death experience at times. 16-13 in overtime against Kentucky. If Mark Stoops doesn't go for it on 4th and goal, kicks a field goal, that game might still be going. Mississippi State down 17 with 10 to play. Texas has made it harder, probably than it needs to be, considering the talent on the roster. But here they are. Can look back at that Florida game and say, man, if you only had Cole Hudson at left guard in that game, maybe Texas finds a way to win it. But can't play that game because it's an L in the books. So now you got a 3-game stretch, 2 top 5 teams. You can rewrite the script, baby. You can go from half a Longhorn Nation thinking, they're headed for 8-4 or worse after that Kentucky game or after that Florida game, to now, holy hell, Texas has got a chance to make the college football playoff. And if they could somehow win out, they'd be in the SEC championship game, which is mind-boggling. I almost feel bad saying it. And the funny thing is, I'm just telling you, if Texas wins out and Arch Manning looks good, he's going to be back in that talk. He's going to be back in that talk. I'm just telling you. And then all of a sudden, it's going to come full circle. But obviously, they got to win out. And Arch has got to look good. I'm just telling you, there's not a lot of consensus out there for whoever's in the Heisman race. Just put that in your back pocket. Could all be moot and worthless next Saturday night. But just throwing that out there.
Throwing out there, yeah.
Because the committee thinks Texas has figured something out. They think they've turned a little corner, and the wins over Oklahoma and Vanderbilt are, those were top 10 teams at the time, and they played a 1-possession game at the number 1 team in the country with I know both teams broke in a new quarterback, so it's not like that was some special thing. But I guess Ohio State's defense, it's worth considering. And
the way Drew be talking about Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, good Lord.
Yeah. Those dudes were real. We saw it.
Yeah, we saw it.
We saw it live in color. I mean, Ohio State, I'll give it to Matt Patricia. That's sorry, SOB. He was a terrible head coach. But this is new life. And look, I reported this. I reported it the day after his surgery that Taft would be back for the Georgia game. That is the plan. That's the plan. So expect Michael Taft to be on the field in Athens. And Jelani McDonald, I hear, is progressing well through concussion protocol. They're going to go slower with him because he plays such a high impact position that he's not practiced this week, but he knows he's in every meeting. He's out at practice. He knows the game plan.
Yeah.
He'll be ready.
So if Georgia was this week, he probably wouldn't have played. Yeah. Probably not.
Man,
that bye came at the perfect time.
Yeah, because they need their best players on the field against Gunnar Stockton and Chauncey Bowens and
Zachariah
Branch, Dylan Bell, Oscar Delp. Yeah, they got some ball players out there in Georgia. But I'm intrigued to watch that Georgia Mississippi State game. I mean, Jeff Lebby, that offense is hard to defend.
It is.
They go fast and they play with confidence. And Chapin is good right up until when you need him the most. Then the wheels are going to fall off. And like,
I mean, if they don't get no pressure on them, which they haven't been getting pressure on anybody,
right.
which is, I'm not buying it. This is what Kirby wants us to think. I'm not buying it, Chip. We were talking about that last year, about how this Georgia team don't get pressure on nobody. This Georgia team's one of the worst teams with sacking the quarterback in the SEC and in the whole nation. And then they turn around and put up 7 sacks. Then they follow up on that. They doubled down on that in the SEC championship game and had about 6 of them things in that one. And
6 of them things.
Always in the backfield. So I'm not buying out 132 in the nation. There's only
132 in tackles for loss, 129 in sacks.
That's just, there's only 136 teams. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. This is what Kirby wants. This Kirby, you sick mother F. Damn it, Kirby. If Kirby gets more than 5 sacks against Texas, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
God.
Just...
Yeah, because then it'll seem like Sark really can't solve the Kirby puzzle. Like, people are like, oh, Sark's got a Kirby. Listen, they would have beaten Georgia in the SEC championship game if Sideshow Burt could split the uprights from 42 yards.
Yo, how he's bringing in bad juju to Miami, by the way, by not playing, not even playing, and he's bringing in bad juju. Poor Burt.
Poor Burt.
Poor Burt. He ain't even playing. They losing.
Like Kirby not being able to beat Alabama is weird. Sark not being able to beat Georgia last year. I get it. They played twice. But they were.
Kirby's gotten Alabama before, though. Like, he's gotten them a couple of times, and has won national championship.
He beat Alabama on the way to winning one of his national championships.
Yeah, so he's done. He's got the monkey off his back, a la Steve Young.
He got the rings. He got the rings.
I need Sark.
I'm watching that game. I gotta go to a sports bar. Because all the damn games are at 11. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you got YouTube TV too?
No, I mean I've got some bootleg stuff, but
all right.
But I mean you got
some bootleg stuff too, so I can't even talk about it with y'all. The feds be at my crib like Chauncey Billups. That's not a good look. So
hey, Georgia, Mississippi State at 11. SMU, Boston. Oh, sorry. You got, yeah. I mean, you know, for me, BYU, Texas Tech at 11. Damn. So you got Georgia, Mississippi State, BYU, Texas Tech, and SMU, Boston College, all at 11.
Ain't nobody care about SMU, Boston College.
Okay, whatever. So we got 2:30. We got A&M in Missouri and Oregon and Iowa. I got to see both those games. Yeah, man. It's a big day. It's a lot. All right, let's get to the right call.
Yeah, by the way, Chan, I don't know why you sent in the Coda text line a picture of Elizabeth Hurley, but appreciate it because, wow. I don't know why he sent it, but appreciate it. Let's get to the right call. For that, though, shout out to Covert BK, family owned and operated, the best in the business. If you need a car, go find those folks at Covert BK. They will hook you up. Dan and the team, they are absolutely amazing. If you don't want to take my word for how great Covert BK is, listen to these beautiful folks of Covert BK.
You see Covert everywhere. It's that personal level of just feeling like it's a personal family interaction.
The customer service, it's impeccable. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced buying a car.
Over the 30 years that I've been buying cars from them, I feel like I know them and they know me.
Covert's done an amazing job of making me feel valued. If you purchase a vehicle and you want to feel like you're part of a family, join the Covert family.
Come and experience it for yourself.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Chip. So
wait. Elizabeth Hurley is dating Billy Ray Cyrus?
no, she ain't.
Is that real? Wow. That is from Chris Bennett, the world's greatest volunteer producer in the history of radio. So I'm inclined to say that is happening.
Wow.
If my man CB says so, that's crazy. What was his song? What was it? His one song?
I don't know. All I know him as Miley Cyrus Pops.
Oh, he had a big. He's a one-hit wonder on the country music.
He was on I wanna take my horse down the old town road. I wanna
Achy Breaky Heart.
Oh,
my achy breaky heart. La, 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 la.
that's a hit.
Huh?
Yeah, that's a hit. I like that joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Ray, cool with me. He hasn't been canceled, has he? I mean, if
No, Elizabeth Hurley's dating him.
Yeah,
you ever seen that show, The Royals, where she plays the queen?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen Elizabeth Hurley since Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah, you need to check out The Royals, man.
All right.
She's got young guys at her beck and call as the queen.
Oh, that's good. She's always look good.
Yeah, she's living life a little different from Queen Elizabeth. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, so we haven't talked about this story much. The Ja Morant situation in Memphis, especially watching the Allen Iverson documentary. Both of those guys very synonymous with one another, just because, troubled past during their careers. They've been dealing with, different, just bad situations, Allen Iverson and Ja Morant, and they play alike, in my opinion. I think Ja Morant has been the closest thing to Allen Iverson that we've gotten since AI has been in the league. But the situation that he has now is very sour, Chip. So the Grizzlies, they bring in a new coach, Tomas Isala, I think.
Salo.
Yeah, Salo, I don't know. Either way, him and Ja Morant aren't getting along. They're not winning. And after the game where Ja Morant didn't play much, the media got a hold of Ja, asked him questions, and this is the interview that got him in trouble to where the Grizzlies felt obligated to suspend him for one game.
What went wrong for you today?
Go ask the coaching staff.
Do you feel like, there was anything you could do differently, I guess?
You go ask them. They had a whole spiel in here, so.
From the outside, and the outside may be wrong, but from the outside, it didn't look like you had your usual energy tonight.
Go ask the coaching staff why.
Okay. You feel like you should play more?
Go ask the coaching staff. Should I play more or not?
What could have been done different to get a different outcome other than asking the coaching staff?
According to them, probably don't play me, honestly. That's what basically the message was after, so it's cool.
The coaching staff message was it?
It's cool, bro.
We good? You didn't have anything physically wrong in terms of illness or anything?
Oh, no, I'm
good.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right.
Yeah, so it seems like Ja Morant's time in Memphis most likely is coming to an end. We've seen this before. A guy basically Jimmy Butler's done it. Plenty of guys have done it. You've been the face of the franchise and something goes wrong and basically you just will your way out of there by your
but here's the thing with him. So much of his problems in the NBA have been self-inflicted. Like, he had his gun celebration. Then they were like, you do that, you're going to get fined, suspended. And then he came up with the grenade celebration. Like, Allen Iverson just dressed from where he came from. You know what I mean? Like, Allen Iverson came from the streets and was about life in the streets. Look, John Morant maybe is, from the streets as they come, but he's put so much out there that was self-inflicted. I know there's talk maybe the Rockets would trade for him, Zay, but any team that brings him in is doing this, the 6'7" thing or whatever. They're like his talent versus the grief to reward ratio. They're doing the grief to reward ratio. Yeah, talent. But is he a locker room killer? Is he a cancer to his teammates?
I mean, for one, I think he's lost a step. Like the John Morant that we saw 3 years ago, he started having injuries and stuff. That's not the same guy. He's lost a step. He's lost some athleticism. So he's just not the same player. But yeah, right now he definitely seems like a cancer. I think if Minnesota wanted to make a move, that would be an option. I don't know what they would have to give up, but him and Anthony Edwards speak the same language. And Ant, opposed to Ja, as crazy as he is, he's about the game. He's about the team. He's about winning. So Ja Morant wouldn't have any choice but to fill in. And that's what the Timberwolves need. They need a point guard. And Ja, who has never been the second option during his time in the association, now he would be. So with him losing the step, even though from the outside looking in, that could be complete chaos, but I do think Anthony Edwards, as crazy as he is mature enough. If they were to make a move for crazy-ass John Morant, both of those guys, I could see it clicking with those two. It'd be a lot. It might take some time. It might take some years off of Cringe Finch's life, but if Minnesota wants to get to where they want to go, that would be the move right there on something that would mix. Like Ant would bring them in. They would go get lemon pepper wings together. They'd have a good time. They'd talk about the honeys together. You know what I'm saying? They'd have a ball. Watch Friday. You know what I'm saying? Watch Living Color, Martin. Listen to NBA Youngboy. What these youngsters.
Hey, fine. They'd have a good time away from the court. How would they do on the court?
It would be a work in progress because Jo's so used to the ball in his hands and has to have the ball in his hands. But who would you rather have, John Morant or Mike Conley? As crazy as John Morant is, who would you rather have on your squad? Now, that's a lot.
Conley's already outlasted his expiration date. So
exactly.
Kudos to him, but yeah.
And Mike Conley would be perfect for John Morant too.
If he would listen.
But I really think he would.
At some point, you got to realize, man, I'm throwing money away. I'm costing myself.
See, I hear what Tori's saying right here. Ant off the court is immature. Ant on the court is pretty mature. Like, this is a guy that works on his craft, works on his game. He's all about winning. Off the court with all them baby mamas and all that scandalous ass stuff, yeah, he's immature there. But on the court, I think Ant Edwards and John Morant, oh man, folks in Minnesota, they couldn't handle all that. And people are like, Memphis is a horrible place for John Morant. Like, Memphis is the same as the ghettos that he came from in South Carolina. Same country ghetto. Like, that's not good for John Morant. It's too close to home. Like, it's just way too close to home. He needs something like Minnesota, where people are ice fishing for a living and doing things like that. And
ice fishing for a living. Is that a good living?
Living, but I'm just saying, like ice fishing as a living, like as for
right, something that they like to do. Go sit in the freezing cold.
Yeah, something peaceful. You know what I mean? All them lakes and stuff, like just peaceful. Memphis, there's nothing peaceful about Memphis. Nothing. They killed my man, Young Dolph in Memphis. He was just trying to get some cookies from the local bakery in the ghetto. Just trying to get some cookies. Memphis is not a good place. I don't even know how they have a team in the NBA. I appreciate them, grit and grind. Zach Randolph, Mark Gasol. That was a fun time. They were
Tony Allen.
Yeah, Tony Allen, which I think Tony Allen just got locked up. What? Tony Allen do? Yeah, I just saw that. I think Tony Allen just got locked up. Yep, TMZ says former Memphis Grizzlies star Tony Allen arrested on drug charges in Arkansas. That is not a place to have drugs, Tony Allen.
Like what kind of drugs?
Let's see. Authorities say Allen was found with a bag of marijuana on him.
Oh, come on.
They searched the vehicle and then they allegedly found cocaine in a cigarette box.
Well, that gets a little complicated. I mean, marijuana, come on, man. Marijuana. Arkansas, Texas, probably going to be the last states ever to legalize weed and gambling. But come on, man.
Yeah,
now the cocaine.
Allen.
Come on. I don't listen. They could have framed him on that. They could have been searching for the car and dropped that little bag of coke in the ashtray or wherever they said they found it.
Wow. Yo, man, you're making the Arkansas PD look mad crooked right now.
Yeah, man, come on. I'll have to look into this. Make sure my man Tony Allen ain't getting stiffed here.
Do we love Tony Allen that much to where we're putting this on the Arkansas Little Rock PD?
Yeah, I'm a little suspect about the Arkansas PD in this arrest case.
I feel you. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm a little suspect.
I love Tony Allen too. Talk about crazy.
I mean, it wasn't like Bam Morris who was bringing 200 pounds of weed across or whatever, however many. He had a ton.
Who?
Bam Morris, the former Texas Tech and NFL running back. Oh, you don't remember this? Oh, Lord. Let me pull this up.
What year?
Byron Bam Morris. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. It's like 98.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the FBI. Like he was involved in like trafficking. Yeah, he had 220 pounds of weed.
Damn.
Like, he was doing some trafficking.
Yeah, that's a lot of in 98. That's probably some bunk too.
But I mean, he's not the first. Some of these former athletes, they want to keep making money the way they were making it. And sometimes the only way to do that, or the easiest way and the most illegal way, is to get involved in like drug smuggling.
Hustling.
It's just hustling.
Yeah. AI was hustling. AI and Mama. Mama Iverson was hustling. I didn't know that.
Who was the girl who was like out in the streets with him? She's like
his homegirl.
Yeah, his homegirl. She's like, hey, I'm gonna tell him everything. He's like, yeah, tell him everything.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, CB, my man AI was crying his ass off on that documentary, man. That's why I love it so much. Like, yeah, be vulnerable. Be real. You ain't got to be tough all the time. We know you tough. Show us that real Allen Iverson. He did. It was good. I recommend that for everybody.
Yeah. All right, let's open up the gym. Let's bring the fellas in. Patrick and Matt. What's up?
What up, guys?
What's going on, guys? I wanted to get into the conversation you had earlier today, though. I heard about you talking about Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. For the record, when Bill Belichick was coaching with Nick Saban on the Browns, they got progressively better until they had an 11-5 season in '94. Nick Saban then took the Michigan State job out of that. The next season with just Bill Belichick and no Nick Saban, 5-11, and they moved the damn team. He was so bad without Nick Saban that they had to move the Browns to Baltimore.
I rest my case.
Just saying they're the same age. It was not Nick learning from Bill. It was Bill learning from Nick.
Oh man.
There you go.
Hey, just telling you.
Hey,
just telling you.
Look at Nick Saban.
Hey, one of them
got
a
head coach. He was changing out coordinators, assistant coaches every year, still winning.
Yeah. Hey, the biggest flaw of Bill Belichick is he never wanted to have anyone around him who challenged him. Not intellectually, not historically, not anything. So he hired a bunch of terrible assistant coaches. And he hired Nick Saban, and he won, and then he fired Nick Saban, and then Nick Saban took another job, and he was awful.
Yeah. Can't believe I'm bashing my goat like this. Wow.
I love
Look,
it.
and by the way, I don't like Tom Brady and his weird clone dog either. I don't like him either. But I hate on all the Patriots.
Except when he plays Nick Foles, then it's no good. Nick Foles, he's too much fun. See you tomorrow.
You guys.
See you guys.
See you, Zay.
Welcome into Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open 512-222-9328. And of course, over on the chat on Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. I like Romeo Cornell. Charlie Weiss was not great. I mean, he was okay at Notre Dame for 2 years, and then it fell apart, and then he ended up at Kansas, and it was terrible. What's up, CB? I like he just didn't like Bill Belichick. Has historically not told his assistants what was going on. Like he historically is very close with his stuff. So he didn't really try and get anybody around him that he was going to mentor and pull up. Whereas Andy Reid and guys like that were always trying to find somebody else and get him. Nick Saban hired so many good coaches to work with because he was never afraid of being challenged. And Bill Belichick was just getting a bunch of bad people. And so, look, I don't think Bill Belichick is the worst coach ever. I'm not saying that, but we're just saying he is not remotely near the GOAT conversation.
He's the most overrated coach of all time. That doesn't mean he's the worst. Just means he's overrated, and that's fine. If I had Tom Brady and I was the head coach of the Patriots, I probably would have won a few games. I probably wouldn't have won a Super Bowl, but I probably would have won a few games because Tom Brady was Tom Brady.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and Notre Dame, that was one of the original buyouts was Charlie Weiss when they got him, and they hired so many people. It's not, Rob, it's not recency bias. It's with knowledge bias. It's once the information started to come out. The recency bias was that he was the GOAT. And then all of the information started to spill out over the years about how he had nothing to do with that offense, and it was all Tom Brady, and none of the coaches really had much to do with that offense. It was all Tom Brady. And then all the players are like, oh, no, Tom ran everything. And then you're like, well, the defenses were good. I mean, he's a good defensive coordinator. Not great, but he's a good one.
Here's if you really think it's recency bias, here's Bill Belichick's career as a head coach. Cleveland 6-10, 7-9, 7-9, 11-5, 5-11. New England first year 5-11. He gets Tom Brady in 2001, 11-5, wins the Super Bowl, goes on a historic run. Tom Brady leaves. It all goes to trash. And now he's at North Carolina, and it's trash. It's just it's not recency bias. It's factual information.
It is.
He couldn't win without Tom Brady.
No, he's never won. He's never, because first of all, he doesn't know anything about offense. He doesn't understand how to do that. And he's just not really a great teacher in a short term what you need to be able to do, especially in college. And I agree, the college is different than the NFL, because in the NFL, his defenses would be really good by week 10, week 8, week 10, because he basically implemented a bunch of different schemes, and so he could scheme up against every single offense. The problem was their defense was garbage for half the year because they didn't know how to coach. They didn't know how to play the schemes, and then they would learn the stuff by the end of the season, and then he wouldn't pay to keep anybody, so he had to keep bringing in new people because he was like, no, screw it, I'm going to bring in new people. I think there's things you could say that are positives for Bill Belichick. I think there's a lot of guys who would have screwed up having Tom Brady too. Like, all that's true, but that also doesn't mean he's near the GOAT conversation just because he won a bunch of rings.
And what do you mean, Rob, that the first half of the dynasty Brady was not Brady? That doesn't even make sense.
No. Yeah. Brady was always the guy running it. He was not as knowledgeable as he was later, but he was always the guy running it. Like, again, you just go talk to all of his teammates, and they all basically say the same thing. So if all of the team agrees, well, we just listen to Tom. No. Yeah, but game managers who score a bunch of points are really valuable. Like, I mean, Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl as a game manager because he was extremely knowledgeable. They're not bad things.
And it's not just like, you can't just look at stats and say he's a game manager. He went into the playoffs and was just an absolute assassin.
I see,
and that's why they won Super Bowls.
Rob, I think you are looking back at this with a different set of eyes, that you remember it differently than what it was. I because I get it. I remember watching back then in 01, and they were really, really good.
Oh yeah, look at your logo. You're a Boston guy. I get it. That makes sense. Now it makes sense.
You're Homer. I get that, but why would you not want us to tell you that Bill Belichick was overrated? You had the great player, and then you had this asshole coach who hates your team now and refuses them to be allowed there. He hates the Patriots. Bill Belichick hates the Patriots more than me. And that's saying something. You may have watched him with Patriots shaded glasses on. I can talk. We'll get to that. But Matt, let's get into a show. How are you doing today on a Thursday? You having a good afternoon on a Thursday afternoon? Get ready to almost be the weekend.
Yeah, I'm ready for the weekend. I'm glad that we're going to stop the Brady talk, because this is not WEEI, so we don't need to talk about the Patriots all day. But the final thing that I will say on that is that Tom Brady is unquestionably the GOAT. And he's the reason for all of it. And that's okay. Doesn't take any shine off of it. Doesn't make it worse. It just makes Bill Belichick look like kind of an asshole, which is true. I think everybody agrees with it. So it's fine. But yes, I'm ready for the weekend, Patrick.
Yes, ready for the weekend. Yeah, we won't go too far down. But look, I don't have any real animosity towards him. It bothers me when we celebrate people who do things that actively slow down other people's careers, and actively was against a lot of things, and actively cheated multiple times in his career. Like that's why, baby. He's and by the way, a ton of coaches cheat. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. It is what it is. Bill was just really good at it. He was really, really good at it. But getting into today, we got a good. Do you have any weekend plans yet, Matt? Or you this one playing a little bit easier because you're at the wedding last weekend?
Since it's a bye week for Texas, I'm going to be taking it easy. I'm going to cover the A&M game on Saturday, but that's about it. And then I'm heading to Athens next weekend, so I'm gonna relax and gear up for that.
Headed to Athens next weekend, hoping for make sure all your flights are early. Allow yourself plenty of time. Now that they're canceling flights everywhere and
we'll see how that goes.
And everything else, allow yourself plenty of time. If anyone is going to Athens for the game, allow yourself plenty of time to get there, because it seems like
if anybody wants to charter me a private flight, that would be amazing. I'm taking donations for a private flight if anybody wants to pony up. But yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, no, that's happening right now. We've got, it is the YouTube ESPN blackout thing happening. We can't just watch games in peace, Matt. Can the world not get together? It's college football season. Do these people not know that we only get so many of these weeks a year?
Yeah.
They're really screwing it up with all their petty squabbling about world diplomacy and things. I don't.
It's only a 13.5-hour drive. I just looked, so that's maybe that's going to be better than being at an airport.
Yeah. We will get into a little bit, Matt. I want to get into looking a little bit at the future of Texas. And, we've talked about a lot of not being prepared last season. So in the bye week, I thought this might be a fun thing to go through. We'll have our SEC power rankings when we start off hour 2. My man Bama Bruce calling in later in the show as well. Wanted to start things off, though, today. We talked a lot about the college football poll yesterday. Now we're another day away from it. I've seen much more agree with what we have said than disagree with what we have said. The biggest takeaway from most people is, how is Notre Dame 10? Because it doesn't really make sense for them to be 10. But I wanted to look at the schedules left for the people in the top 10 of the college football, the people ahead of Texas. And the basic premise of how many teams of that will probably still be ahead of Texas in 4 weeks if nothing else changes. Does Texas jump some of these people? Does Texas, if they lose another game, is there a reality of a 3-loss Texas team getting in? Or are there going to be too many teams ahead of them that's just kind of silly to think, because there will be way too many 1- and 2-loss teams ahead of them to really logically put them into that situation. Even with the resume and everything else in it, it's hard to go winning doesn't matter. We think you're better. Now, granted, they've somewhat already said that with Notre Dame, putting Notre Dame at 10. But I want to go through and look at some of these teams and kind of look at what they have coming up with them. So we'll start off at the top at number 1 in Ohio State, what they have left in front of them. We're not going to count conference championship games because those are, those are fluctuating between everything else. And I don't think they should really matter a ton in the final deciding factors of who's going to the playoffs or not. Again, winning games should matter during the regular season. You have to make the regular season matter. These extended playoffs, that's my biggest worry about them, is making the regular season where you live and die, where the feeling we all had in the Mississippi State game, where it was over. Like, it was over for Texas in the Mississippi State game. And that feeling, when you were like, the season is over, I think if you start to have 16, 20, and 3-loss teams are getting, we're like, all right, well, maybe we can get in. I think that you want to stay away from that. You want to have teams that maybe have some hope, because I do think it has added some fun late in the season for a lot of fan bases that they're still alive, where, Texas fan base, if this is old school, we're dead. We're already smoked. Even playing the number 3 team and the number 5 team in the country, we would still be smoked with 2 losses. So there are positives to it, but I don't want to get too out of hand. So let's start with Ohio State here, Matt. Ohio State, 4 games left on their schedule. They play at Purdue versus UCLA, who's improved, but also Indiana just smoked them. They don't necessarily look like they're going to be able to really hold up a candle against that Ohio State defense. I know that Neuheisel's kid is doing well, but that is just it's a really, really good defense. And then Rutgers. So that should be 3 wins right there. Their final game is at Michigan, and it's a most interesting game for a lot of reasons now, because Ohio State should be undefeated. They have not beaten Michigan in forever. And this is still a game where everyone's like, haha, Ohio State's going to win, right? Ohio State's going to win. And then you look at it and you go, but are they? Because they won a national championship last year, and Michigan was arguably worse last year than they are this year. And Michigan still won the game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to put a percentage chance on Michigan actually just being able to, once again, rivalry game, win this game, and Ohio State's getting in no matter what, because even a one-loss Ohio State is still getting in. And especially if they lose to a Michigan team that's still ranked at the time, then they're still in the playoff. But it does change, the narrative does change seeding a little bit more. What do you think about that Ohio State-Michigan? Is there any chance, or is this finally the year Ohio State gets it back?
Well, I don't know, man. Ohio State has not beaten Michigan since before COVID. 2019 was the last time Ohio State beat Michigan. So until they beat Michigan, I'm just going to operate under the assumption that they are going to lose to Michigan. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing in my head as Alabama and Georgia. I don't care if Alabama's 10-0 and Georgia's 0-10. I'm still going to pick Georgia until they prove to me that they can beat Alabama. Or I'm still going to pick Alabama until Georgia proves to me that they can beat Alabama. So if you're going to stumble, it might be Michigan. And if Michigan wins out and then they beat Ohio State final game of the regular season, they could be a playoff team because they only have 2 losses. So that would be super interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't think they're going to beat Michigan right now, just because I feel like Michigan's in Ryan Day's head in some way, shape, or form. Like, they just dominate everybody throughout the year, and then they get to Michigan and they forget how to play football. So it's going to be super interesting to watch. I don't know what to think.
And by the way, Trashy Lobster, I'm with you. I'm still on the same pattern. If you win against Georgia, you beat A&M, you beat Arkansas, you win your last 3 games of the season, none of this really matters more than seeding.
Here is something very interesting, Patrick.
What's that?
And I know we're going to talk about Texas and stuff later. Yeah. If Texas does win out, they could go to Atlanta. They only have 1 SEC loss.
Yeah.
They would get the tiebreaker over A&M. They would get, so they could theoretically play Alabama in the SEC championship.
Well, and so it depends, because the tiebreakers are different, because if it's a 3 or 4 person tiebreaker, it changes it, so it's not necessarily just your head-to-head anymore. So there's weird tiebreaker rules once we get into that.
Well, yes, but I'm saying it's possible.
Yeah, it is very possible. Very possible.
And if they win out and they go to Atlanta and somehow they figure out a way to beat Alabama, they could still, in theory, be the highest ranked team in the SEC in the college football playoff at
100%.
At 11-2 at that point. That would be crazy, considering after the Florida game and really at halftime in the Mississippi State game, kind of like third quarter of the Mississippi State game, everybody thought Texas was dead.
Yeah.
It's over. I even tweeted Texas is cooked during the Mississippi State game. But they still have literally everything that they could possibly want in front of them.
They do. And this is still my favorite thing of a legitimate actual scenario that could happen, is that Texas beats A&M the last game of the season. They're the 2 one-loss teams remaining in the SEC, because it's very possible teams could lose. Those, you have 2 one-loss teams. It's Texas and Texas A&M. They then play again in the SEC championship game. They play last game of the season, play again in the SEC championship game. Doesn't matter. They both make the playoffs. And then you play them again in the playoffs. And you finish a national champion with 2 losses, and you gave A&M their 3 losses, so you still had a better season than them. That would be the funniest possible scenario in the world. I do not believe that will happen. The amount of things that would have to happen for that to work. But it's the funniest way that you could really just make the Aggies be like, we're moving to the Big Ten. Like, I think if that happened, they would
back to the Big 12.
Yeah, they would leave the SEC. Like, we're not doing this. We're not playing Texas anymore, guys. We hate these guys so much. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. It's just, at this point in time, technically a possibility. So, all right, let's go down to our next team real quick, which is Indiana. Indiana ends up playing at Penn State, which is no longer a scary situation. Weeks ago, this would have been a 7:00 game. possibly, and the whiteout or whatever they want to do at Penn State. This could have been a huge game. It is a big noon Saturday game. It's the 11 a.m. poster boy game, and they're going to kill Penn State at Penn State. They play Wisconsin at home. They will beat Wisconsin, and they play at Purdue. So Indiana should not lose a game. They are also really annoyingly the owner of 2 top 10 wins because Illinois was 9 when they beat them. And Illinois, who's now 3-3 in conference play. Like an Illinois that was vastly overrated. They've beaten them out. There's no shot of that happening anymore. But they do get to claim, because that's how rankings work, that the Iowa win is actually a better win than the Illinois win now. But the Illinois win is a top 10. It's stupid how that works sometimes. I don't like it when you beat a team they're like, well, they were. It's like how Ohio State can be like, we beat the number 1 team in the country, and you're like, all right, cool it then. Cool with that. I get you beat us, but we're not the number 1 team in the country anymore, so don't claim that. But that one seems like they've won out, right? They're going to go undefeated this year, at least until the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, I don't see them losing until the Big Ten championship. And then I think Ohio State's probably going to smoke them. But I don't know anything anymore because I thought that I thought that Oregon was going to smoke them and they didn't. So maybe they're better than I think. I don't really buy it. I just don't.
So they look like they're going undefeated in the Big Ten championship game. So that's one where we can say maybe a 25% chance Michigan gets the job done against Ohio State and they have 1 loss. But probably you're talking about both those teams playing in the Big Ten championship game and those two trying to figure it out, right? We then go into A&M. A&M still has 2 tough games on their schedule. They play Missouri at Missouri this week at 2:30. That is the game to watch because if they run through this game like they've been running through a lot of others and they can just come through and get a big win, especially if they win by more than a score, then they're really sitting high because they got South Carolina and Samford both at home after that, and then that big Texas game. So I would say they're favored in 3 of the 4. I don't think they're favored against Texas still. But that is where we sit and say, A&M, you control your own fate against. So it's not quite the same thing. You can beat them 1 time. Now, you can't make them lose twice. And you don't really necessarily want them to lose to Missouri because if they lose to Missouri, it kind of knocks off the luster of that last game. Now they're kind of scrounging a little bit more. So, this one, what do you feel about that Missouri game? We'll ask Bama Bruce about it. We'll talk about these games in depth more tomorrow. But what do you feel about that? A&M and Missouri, is that an area at Missouri that could be a trap for A&M, or the fact that they are playing 3 straight road games and beat Arkansas 45-42, then have no problem at the Swamp 49-25? Again, what's it back-to-back? LSU?
Oh, you said the Swamp. I thought you were talking about the Florida game.
No, LSU.
Yeah.
But so we said also, did they fall into the back-to-back wins against conference rivals again on the road, true road games?
They did it.
They've done it now too with Arkansas and LSU, and now they'll try and do it a 3rd straight week with Missouri. What do you like about that? Is this just another rollover, or is this going to be a closer one at least?
In my heart of hearts, I believe that this is, since Notre Dame, Texas A&M's toughest test yet. I think they absolutely have a chance to lose this game. Missouri's defense is arguably the best in the SEC. They're number 1 total defense in the SEC. They're I think they're the number 1 pass defense in the SEC. They're top 4 against the run. And I want to say they're top 3 in scoring defense. They may even be number 1 in scoring defense. So this Missouri defense is really, really good. And they run the football really, really well, which if there has been a weakness against Texas that Texas A&M's defense has, it's stopping the run. So this is absolutely a trap game for Texas A&M. Absolutely. We're going to do our picks tomorrow. I'm sure that's going to be one of them. So I won't spoil it, but this is going to be a closer game, I think, than a lot of experts think. And I know that Missouri's starting their 3rd string quarterback. He's a 5-star true freshman who's a dude. So he's really good, and he gets to make that start in front of his home crowd, and not College Station. So I like Missouri's chances in this game. There is a scenario that Texas A&M still loses 2 games.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And by the way, that's also, if you want to look at the positive of that, that does play more into Texas making the SEC championship game, having a chance to win the SEC, because now you're playing there to knock them out of the game again, much like last year. You knock them out, you are now a 1-loss team, and you have a better road. Number 4 in the college football poll is Alabama. This is a Alabama team that started off slow, has looked really good, but their gauntlet is not terrible, but just enough that another loss in there is plausible, if not, I wouldn't say likely, but plausible. Because they play LSU, then they go play Oklahoma. They're playing this at home. LSU at home, Oklahoma at home. Then they get the easy game of Eastern Illinois, and then they have to go on the road at Auburn. So if you talk about LSU, if they have any fight left in them now that Brian Kelly's gone, do they have any of that to go into Alabama and get a win? Probably not, but there's a chance. Oklahoma somehow fought out a win against Tennessee. I would pick Alabama to win this game all day long, but it's possible again. So another possible win for a possible loss for Alabama. And then Auburn, as bad as they've been, they have now fired their coach. They will be rolling into that game trying to make something good out of their season and to ruin Alabama's. It happens. Nick Saban isn't there anymore, where you really feel like, even though I know the pick six, whatever it was during Nick Saban's watch, you normally don't think you're going to sneak up on them. But there's plausibility that they drop another one too.
Oh, I think Alabama's losing to Auburn. I absolutely think they're losing to Auburn. Now that they've fired Hugh Freeze, especially, and they have one play caller. Nick Saban has, I'm paraphrasing this because I don't remember exactly what he said, but he ostensibly said there's black magic in Jordan-Hare Stadium. There's something weird about that place for Alabama. I don't know what it is, but it more often than not is a super tight game. I can go look at the series history, but that is an absolute landmine for Alabama. And I would be very, very careful if you're an Alabama fan of counting that as a win, because I just don't think that it is.
All right, looking at Georgia's schedule now, they may have the most likely to have a loss of what we've seen so far, because they are going to play at Mississippi State, which I know, but man, we saw what it's like to play at Mississippi State. Now, luckily, they're doing 11 a.m. for them. Luckily for them, they're not going in there at 7 o'clock at night. But sometimes these upsets happen in the morning when you're not ready and you go into Mississippi State. So you got that game at Mississippi State. Then they are home for the rest of their schedule. But they play Texas, then they play Charlotte, and then they play a Georgia Tech team who's been much better this season and took them to the limit last year. Is there a chance that this Georgia team gets slightly upset? They've beaten Ole Miss. They've beaten Tennessee. Other than that, haven't had a lot of big matchups so far. What do you put the odds on this team losing at least one more game, if not 2?
I mean, I really don't want to spoil my pick for next weekend. But I think Texas beats Georgia.
All right.
And here's why I think that. The 2 games last year that Georgia beat Texas, and even back to the Sugar Bowl with Sam Ehlinger, you can go back that far if you want to. The team that was supposedly the better team on the field lost the game. Georgia was better than Texas in the Sugar Bowl, but Texas beat them. I will argue until I run out of breath that Texas was a better football team than Georgia was last year. Just from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Georgia won both those games. And now I think Georgia is probably a better team than Texas this year. So I think Texas is going to win. And I think Arch is going to play really well. So that's one. And then there is something about Georgia Tech and Brent Key with Georgia. Like they almost beat him last year in Athens.
Yeah.
I know this game is not at Georgia Tech's home stadium, but it's in Atlanta, and it's not. It probably won't be like a complete home field advantage, but that's going to be a tough game for them. I guarantee it. And just real quick, going back to Auburn and Alabama. In 2023, with Nick Saban, when the game was at Auburn, Alabama barely won. That was like the 4th and 19 to Isaiah Bond in the end zone that saved them. They won 27-24. The year before that, in Auburn, Alabama won 24-22. The last one before that, at Auburn. Auburn won 48-45. One before that, Auburn won 26-14. So I'm just saying they've had a lot of trouble there lately.
Yeah,
so
they have. I think it's very open. All right, let's go to number 6 is Ole Miss. I believe they'll probably beat the Citadel at home. I think they can beat the Citadel.
It might be tough.
They play a Florida team that, yes, there's going to be the entire story of that is Lane Kiffin taking the Florida job, which we know now he's going to take the LSU job probably if he takes a job. But that will be the narrative. That will be the entire narrative of that game. It is at Ole Miss, though, so you don't get to go there with all the people holding signs or whatever else telling them to come to Florida and all that stuff. So we don't get that, but it will be a night game at Ole Miss. We'll see what Florida can do, but I think Ole Miss should be good there. And then really the only question is another rivalry game. It's at Mississippi State. As an Ole Miss guy, Matt, which one terrifies you the most?
By far, Mississippi State. It's not even close. This is like almost pre-written by the Ole Miss football gods that Ole Miss will be 10-1, going into Starkville, probably double-digit favorites, and then it'll be like a triple overtime game that they miss a field goal to lose or something. So they absolutely have a chance to lose that game, 100%. This is the most. I absolutely think they're going to obviously beat the Citadel. I think they're going to beat Florida pretty easily, actually. And then when they get to Mississippi State, there will not be a game that I've been more nervous for in my entire adult life.
Which is crazy, but I get it. And that's, again, why you don't want to ruin too much of the meaning, because if that game didn't matter at all, and it wasn't like, oh, God, we could lose this, and then maybe that slides us to 10, and 10 doesn't get in, or 11 doesn't get in, and it slides us just down far enough that Georgia is still ahead of us because Georgia beat us, then, and they're 10 and we're 11, ooh, you don't want that world of just missing again, where that is the message to Lane Kiffin. Well, if you were LSU, you'd probably get
in. Yeah. Exactly.
Would. So I mean, that would be the selling point. If I was LSU, that would be the phone call I make. You just know, LSU would have gotten in, though, right? They would have gotten in.
Same resume, LSU
Same
on the helmet
everything.
instead of the script. Ole Miss, same everything. You probably get it.
Yeah.
Temple of Brutus, real quick. Yes, the Georgia defense, I agree, is not the Georgia defense that we're used to, but that's still a very good defense. So I wouldn't discount them too much. They don't have a very good pass rush, and they give up explosive plays, but that's still a very, very talented, very, very good defense. So don't put that bad juju out into the world.
Don't put that bad juju out there. All right, BYU, we're in our Big 12 portion of the rankings now. These two teams are going to play each other. So BYU has to face at Texas Tech. Right now, Texas Tech, I believe, is the heavy favorite in that matchup. Then they play TCU, they play at Cincinnati, and they play UCF. At the end. So those are your last games. This is, in the end, this is one of those schedules. BYU should be able to win every game, but Texas Tech, and does that give them enough to stay in? If they are only a one-loss team and that one loss is Texas Tech, do they stay in, or do they slide just behind Oklahoma, Texas, and Notre Dame?
I think BYU loses 2 more games.
Okay.
I think they're going to lose to Texas Tech this weekend. And I think there's absolutely a chance that they could lose to TCU because Josh Hoover is the best quarterback in the Big 12, and that TCU offense is really good.
I mean, Cincinnati's played well this year.
And Cincinnati's good, too. They played terribly this past weekend against Utah, but otherwise they've been good.
Yeah.
They gave Nebraska hell, so they've been a really good team, and they could lose that one too. I think of I mean, how many undefeated teams left are there in college football? Like 5
overall.
Yeah,
I
mean, like Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, BYU, and is there another one?
I don't think there's another one. There's not in the top 25 at least. So if there is, they are very small level.
They are the biggest fraud in college football, in my opinion.
Okay.
So what I think is probably going to happen, I think
BYU,
they could lose.
BYU has beaten, their only ranked win is over number 23 Utah. Their non-conference big game was Stanford. So, so your non-conference game is a team that is completely rebuilding.
Correct. But here's the other thing too. I think that they probably lose. I think they lose to Texas Tech for sure.
Okay.
But
yeah, they're 10.5-point dogs in that game.
If they get to the Big 12 championship game and they lose and they're 11-2, I don't think they get in.
I don't think so, because they don't have any wins. I mean, your only real win is against Utah, and Utah is not. So I don't know if
Utah
you get
hasn't
in.
beaten a ranked team this year.
Yeah. So I don't know if you get on that one. I mean, but then again, we look at Texas Tech, who's the next one. They didn't schedule really. Oregon State was their Power 4, I guess. That was their bigger non-conference game. Was Oregon State. Really went out on a limb on Oregon State on that one. They lost to Arizona State pre everyone being injured on Arizona State and just completely being out of it now. And their only ranked win is against number 16 Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So the only ranked win again is Utah. Utah is basically the punching point now of these teams. They only have 3 games left in their schedule. They play BYU, who they're heavy favorites against, UCF, and West Virginia. Those should be 3 easy wins, or at least 2 easy wins and a win over BYU get you that third one. It's going to be on game day. I hate the fact that they keep bringing up the last time game day was in Lubbock. It's not a fond memory. If you don't remember, it's the Crabtree catch.
Yeah, I remember very well. The Blake Gideon dropped interception is the way I like to remember it. Yeah, I think Texas Tech is going to win out, and that includes the Big 12 championship, which I did predict at the beginning of the season. I just want to say that.
Okay.
So if that happens, I'm going to be grossed out, but I'm going to say I'm right. Another reason that I think they beat BYU this weekend is because BYU's quarterback wears number 47. That is so gross.
It's such a Mormon thing to do, isn't it? Just feels.
And he's 40. A true freshman too. So going into Lubbock, crazy crowd, I don't think he's going to be able to handle it.
No. Then we look over at Oregon. Oregon has 2 top 10 win over Penn State. Once again, the Big Ten manufacturing top 10 wins here. Their 2 best teams with top 10 wins are a not ranked Indiana team now and a fired their coach bad Penn State team. Those are the 2. So then we get into and I get there's talent on Penn State, but they were getting killed. That's like this started the slide, and then it went downhill from there. They lost to Indiana. Now they have 3 games left against ranked opponents for Oregon. So Oregon could very easily lose themselves out of this or win themselves back into this, easily back into this if they win out. But they play number 20 Iowa at Iowa this weekend. Then they play Minnesota at home. They play number 19 USC at home. And they play at number 23 Washington to end the year. Now, Washington I don't think is that hard of a game. I know Washington, there's some more hope for it. Washington right now is 3-2 in conference play. They're not playing. They played some decent teams. I just haven't seen them really step up and look really good in conference play. But USC, is up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iowa plays a really good defense, so that'll be a really interesting week. That's probably the most interesting one because of what Iowa can do and slow the game down. But with Oregon, does Oregon lose another game and it kind of knocks them further away? Maybe they fall into that realm of well, does a fourth SEC team get in before Oregon?
So I'm all about the college football chaos, and I know I've been predicting a lot of it so far. I'm going to predict it with Oregon as well.
Okay.
Not only do I think they lose to Iowa this weekend, Washington right now owns Oregon. They've won 3 of the last 4. So I think that's going to be a little bit tougher than people think, and it's at Washington. And also your note about Washington being 3-2 in conference play and that not being very impressive. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very good. But do you know how bad some of the Big Ten has been against?
Oh, no.
The rest of the Big Ten?
Bottom third of the Big Ten has 2 wins, right?
2-31
in
Big Ten play.
And they've only beaten each other.
18-33 overall.
Yeah. But in conference play, the bottom third of the Big Ten has 2 wins, and that's against other bottom third teams. Teams
Correct.
that you basically, one of them had to win. You had to win those games. The bottom of the Big Ten is scraping the barrel. And I know I get saying that Mississippi State and Kentucky aren't winning any conference games either. I get that your bottom of the barrel on the SEC is still, so there's some of those teams that are not playing really good football right now. But they're also, I feel, putting up more of a fight than we're getting in the Big
Ten. Maryland's only win in conference play is against Wisconsin. Rutgers' only win in conference play is against Purdue. The SEC, by the way, is 6-28 in the bottom 6 teams in conference play, 20-32 overall. That's better.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you say is like Mississippi State didn't win conference play. They beat Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
Like they non-conference, they did better than some of these other teams who just can't win anything. Let's hit the last one here. Go ahead.
Just back to Oregon real quick. I think they're going to be 9-3.
Okay. So 9-3 Oregon's way out though, right?
Yeah.
9-3 Oregon's way out. All right. And that leads us to our 10th team. This team does seem like they will win out. They will have losses to Miami and Texas A&M to start the season. They have a win over number 20 USC is their big win. But that's at home too against the number 20 team in the country at the time, USC, who's still around. I think they're 19 now, so they're a little bit better. They play Navy. They play at Pitt, who's number 24 right now. Then they play Syracuse, and they play at Stanford. I know Syracuse we like to say some positive things about, but I just don't see Syracuse beating Notre Dame right now. Notre Dame plays well at the end of the season. I don't really see Pitt beating them either. If Pitt beats them, then everyone can sigh a big sigh of relief and just go, all right, Notre Dame's out, everybody. Stop trying to shove a 3-loss Notre Dame team in here because they're the first thing they're going to walk in and go, oh, well, I know Notre Dame has 3 losses, but hear me out.
I wouldn't say that Notre Dame is like completely out of the woods just yet, even against Navy.
But again, I think this is like kind of like Ohio State, where it's like a 20-25% chance they lose a game. It's a pretty small chance.
But with Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's not that bad, man. They did lose to West Virginia. They have a loss to Louisville. Louisville's ranked number 15. That's their only other loss. The West Virginia loss looks bad. But they beat Florida State, who I get isn't that good. They killed Syracuse. They killed NC State. They killed Stanford. So they've been on a roll lately. And it's at home against Notre Dame. I'm not predicting it necessarily, but I could absolutely see a scenario in which Pittsburgh beats Notre Dame. Because I
could see a scenario, yeah.
That is a road game that, like, Pittsburgh's a weird place to play. I don't know. That might be an upset
line on that one yet. No, I don't see an early line on it yet.
Not yet. It says that Notre Dame has a 74.2% chance to win.
Yeah,
on ESPN.
But I don't trust ESPN as much as I trust ESPN Bet. The one where they actually trying to make money. But let's take a look then at the entirety of the college, those 10 teams ahead of Texas. Then, as we look at Texas, we know what Texas has left, and there are 3 tough matchups. There are 3 matchups that 2 of them are against two of the top 5 teams in the country right now. And the other one is a team that it doesn't matter. It's almost worse that they're not your rival, you're their rival, because they will be very amped up for this game. And I don't know if Texas will carry that same emotion into it. So you do have to worry about that a little bit, that is a perfect trap game for Texas, even though it's at home, that if you beat Georgia, you're feeling pretty good. And then you walk into Taylor Green and he gets a couple plays on you, especially maybe get a little bit beat up again in Georgia. Knock on wood, don't let that happen, but maybe get beat up a little bit again. And, you're without one or two players in that game and you're just trying to get through. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So let's look now at the teams that are ahead and how many may get knocked out. We say Ohio State, almost a lock to be in. Indiana, almost surely a lock to be in. A&M, almost surely a lock to be in. Now, possibly they could technically get knocked out if they were to lose to Missouri, lose to Texas, and then probably another game in there somewhere you have to lose to be a 3-loss team. The 2-loss A&M, how well they played early, it'll be hard unless they get really blown out in 2 of those games and then get killed in the SEC championship. Like, they look really bad. I don't see them getting knocked out at undefeated at this point of the season. Am I wrong?
No, I think that those top 3 teams are a lock for the playoff. Obviously, Texas A&M still has 3 SEC games left. If South Carolina somehow pulls off a miracle against them, then maybe we're having a different conversation. But I have a real hard time seeing that happening.
So that'll put us with 3 spots already of the 12 that are going to be in there. And we also know one of those is going to have to be an ACC team, and one of those is going to have to be a group of 5 team. So we're really only looking at 10 spots right now. But then we look down at Alabama and Georgia. Do you think either Alabama or Georgia will lose enough to be out? We said Alabama could lose the Auburn game. That's still a 2-loss Alabama team that's got some good wins. They might stay right in there still the last week of the season. Georgia, they would have to lose to Texas and they'd have to lose to Mississippi State and Texas, or Georgia would have to lose to Texas and Georgia Tech at the end of the season, I think. Again, I think a 2-loss Georgia still gets in.
Mm-hmm.
So that now leaves us with 5 we think get in. Ole Miss we don't think loses. Now, I think if Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State the last game of the season, that may be the conversation piece if Texas wins. Because now you're saying, well, which 2-loss teams from the SEC get in, and who has the best victories, and who do we think is the best? And name brand alone, Ole Miss may get screwed on this one and be on the outside looking in, especially if Oklahoma turns out to be a 2-loss team at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because if Oklahoma turns out to be a 2-loss team, then they're playing better. They haven't lost at the end of the year. Then that could really muddy the water. So Ole Miss is your first team that you feel maybe has a chance to be out, but I'd still say most likely in. Because, again, Mississippi State is the one that scares you there. Now, BYU, we're saying is going to be out.
Yeah, I think they lose at least 2 more.
So that's the one that we're like, all right, that's your main probably going to be out of there. And then you're really only looking at, because we think Texas Tech will be in. That'll be your Big 12 person in. So that really only for Texas, even with 2 losses, even they went out against Georgia and A&M, still getting in, they will move up and they'll pass some of these guys. But I don't think there's as much wiggle room as I thought there was yesterday. And that's what I was kind of going to go through today, because I started to look at it, I'm like, I don't think there's a ton of wiggle room. If we're saying 8 teams get in, and this is why I don't think a 3-loss Texas can get in, because I think there's maybe 2 more spots on there right now. And that's if Notre Dame takes a loss. But if they don't take a loss, then they're a 2-loss team. They're getting in ahead of you. The committee's already said they're better than you when you're both 2 losses. So they're definitely getting in if you're a 3-loss team. And I get you're winning against Georgia and A&M to help you out a little bit, but
I think that they still have a shot. It's just going to be a lot harder. But if the committee, if Texas is 10-2 and Notre Dame's 10-2 and Notre Dame's still ranked ahead of Texas, we need to scrap the entire Big 12, the entire college football playoff and start over.
I agree. Well, that's the thing, is if Texas is 10-2, they will definitely be ahead of Notre Dame by the end of the season.
Yeah,
because they will have wins over the number 3 and number 5 team. So you have to move them up, and Notre Dame at best will have a win over Pitt. So Like Texas will definitely move up if they win those games. I'm not worried if Texas doesn't win those. If Texas wins a game, they're in. There is no way about that. The Texas wins 3-game theory, where people are starting to philosophize of how Texas could still lose one of these games and get in. I don't know if there's enough room without some real chaos, without Oregon getting knocked out, without maybe an Ole Miss dropping that game to Mississippi State, without Georgia losing another game, without Missouri, A&M. I think you have to have a lot of chaos, especially in the SEC, to really start to move these teams down a little bit more, to give Texas a shot to be the 3rd or 4th SEC team to get in. Because if you're 5th or 6th in the SEC right now with no chaos, it doesn't matter. So you need a ton of chaos if you do lose one of these games coming up. Is it possible? Sure. A&M could drop 2 more. A&M could drop 3 more. I don't think it's likely. Alabama could get knocked out. Alabama could lose 2 more games. They could lose to LSU and be caught up, and then lose to Auburn at the end of the season, be a 3-loss team. They fall out. Like there's plenty of scenarios where Texas could be a 3-loss team and get in. I just don't think it's as cut as dry as, well, we're better than Notre Dame, so we'll get in ahead of them. I think there's people behind you in line as well. I think Oklahoma, if you're a 3-loss Texas team and a 2-loss Oklahoma that beats Alabama, they're in ahead of you. Even though you got the head-to-head, It doesn't matter. They won that. They beat Alabama. They're getting in. Everyone will look at that game and say John Mateer was hurt. Whether that's fair or not, but if they're again 2-loss Oklahoma, 3-loss Texas, they're getting in ahead of you. Now, I don't think they're going to be a 3-loss. I don't think they'll be a 2-loss Oklahoma. I think they will lose again before the season's over. But I'm just again, you need the chaos. You need some of these teams to lose to get in there. You do have to worry about Utah, who hasn't beaten a team. They're 7-2, but they're 13. They could sneak right back in there, win out, be a 2-loss team. Do they get ahead of you if you drop one? Maybe. Vanderbilt's going to walk into that conversation, say, well, we know we lost to them, but we only lost by 3, and we're a 2-loss team. We should get into that conversation. Georgia Tech beats Georgia at the end of the season. Oh, 1-loss Georgia Tech team? They get in ahead of you.
Well, I mean, this is also considering conference championships.
I get that, but I'm throwing in all of those factors of where I think I think there is a possibility of Texas being able to be a 3-loss team. I think that's a really bad idea path to go down right now. We're not far enough out. We could kind of still screw around and lose to one of these really, really good teams. And then we make it in. I don't think that the rankings, what would tell me so far is that they are going to value some other teams ahead of Texas, because the fact that Texas wasn't in already tells me that a 3-loss Texas probably isn't getting in.
I could see the chaos happening. That's all I'm saying. I could see a lot of those losses happening, particularly Pittsburgh with Notre Dame, Oregon getting knocked out, which I do think is going to happen. And I think a 9-3 Texas would get in over a 9-3 Oregon. Can I just give you what I think the final college football playoff bracket's going to be?
Yeah, go for it.
Real quick. Ohio State, Texas A&M, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Texas, Notre Dame, Michigan, Louisville, and the Group of 5 team, which is probably Memphis.
So you think Michigan's coming up from 21 all the way in?
Yeah, because I think that they're going to finish the regular season 10-2. I think they have a really good chance, because I think I right now I think they're going to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible,
and that's not like the rankings in order. Those are just the 12 teams that I think are going to make it.
No, I'm with you. And Timbo Brutus, I'm with you on a couple of these things, but I don't think they fouled it up by making the conference too many powerhouses. I don't necessarily think that fouls it up. I don't think you can split up the SEC either, because the value is in every single week. Like, you just have to realize the fact that they're being able to put on 3 matchups a day of SEC play, and they're all really good matchups, and no other conference really has that, because the Big Ten has too many teams. The Big Ten now has too many teams, so there's too many weeks where you're playing a nobody, and there's too many matchups that don't matter in the Big Ten now. So I think for TV viewing rights, the way things are going now, everybody loves the SEC because you're like, there's 3. I mean, hell, the other week they had 3 big games on. Then Vanderbilt, Texas was on an off channel. And then they had a different big SEC game on and off channel as well. And you're like, there's been multiple weeks where a 4th or 5th big game has had to be put on the SEC network or ESPN2 or wherever else to hide away.
Well, hold on. The SEC hasn't fouled everything up.
Yeah.
I think that's a non-starter. What I think has happened is that the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12 have dropped the ball because they haven't been able to keep up. There's not enough good teams in the Big Ten. There's not enough good teams in the Big 12. There's more good Big 12 teams than there are ACC teams, and the ACC has done a piss poor job of keeping up, especially with Clemson falling off the map. So it's not the SEC's fault that these other conferences are so thin. It's those conferences. It's those teams' faults for not being able to keep up. And that's on them. It's not on the SEC for being good. The SEC is setting the standard. The rest of them need to get in line.
Yeah. And I think there is, if the SEC is going to do something about it, I don't think it's splitting up the conference. It would probably just be adding in a little water to dilute it. Is kind of what you do. When you're making a drink and you pour too much liquor in your drink, you add a little bit more mixer in there. So that mixer may be a Florida State who's kind of down right now. It could be good again. But you know that, some of these teams are going to go up and down. Not all of them are going to be consistent powerhouses. Hell, LSU's not a powerhouse right now. They could be again. Ole Miss. No one expects Ole Miss to be a powerhouse right now. But they're playing really, really good football. That's not one of the teams that was supposed to be at that top level. If you look at the things so there will be ups and downs. I think the only way the SEC could do anything about it would be to add a couple more teams with some name recognition that weren't as good. Now, the problem was they did that by adding Texas. Texas wasn't that great when we went into the SEC. They were like, we're adding some name recognition and we're going to dilute it. And then Texas got really good in the coming like three years. And it kind of screwed up that plan to dilute the SEC a little bit more with name value, but not power.
Well, how many teams in the Big Ten not named Ohio State and Oregon probably have won at least 10 games 3 out of the last 4 years?
I mean, maybe Penn State. Was Penn State in that conversation?
Maybe.
They were good until this year.
So that's 3.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put anybody else in there.
Ole Miss has done that. Ole Miss.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And if Texas wins out, they'll do it 3 years in a row. Like, there are a bunch of teams in the SEC who have done that.
Yeah.
There's maybe 3 in the Big Ten.
No, and that's the reality of the situation where Texas is right now is can they and I get the ACC and Big 12 are not there, but that's why Texas wanted to go in, because the recruiting is better at Texas or at the SEC. It's easier to get recruits. It's easier to recruit. That area of the country is very stocked with talent. And while there is talent in Pennsylvania and there is talent in California and there is talent in some other places, you can go pick out of all of those places. But for the stronghold of Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, you're like, oh, no, you got to be in here because people want to be in that area still. They don't want to leave the area. And so you want to play those matchups more than you want to play in the Big 12. And in the Big 10, they just don't have that. In the ACC, they don't have that. And in the Big 12, they don't really have that, especially now that they're losing more of a foothold in Texas of these bigger state schools. Texas Tech is trying to get it. Transfer portal, you can spend money and go make a good team. Texas Tech proves that.
Yeah.
But if your fan base doesn't care as much, what are you going to do? But the Big 10 is thriving on that there's a bunch of fan bases who don't care as much. And they're just like, well, they're just bad, so we can be really good every year. And we don't really care about it being great football. We just want to put people in the playoffs.
Well, let's be honest about something. Okay? If Ohio State was in the SEC, they'd probably be just as good, right? I think we can all agree on that. They probably wouldn't go undefeated every year, but they'd be in the playoff every year because they're that good, right? Are there any other teams in the Big Ten that if they were in the SEC would make the playoff every year?
Other than Ohio State?
Other than Ohio State.
I don't know. Because, I mean, Oregon even is not – they have the possibility of not making it. And they're not playing anybody great. So
That's
it's
what
not
I'm
like they have
saying.
– so it's – I get it. I think it's all what you want and what you want in college football. I think the reality is, I'll tell you this, I think TV and ESPN and modern culture and maybe social media and everything else has fouled up college football in the belief that everyone's a competitor and everyone has a chance to win. I think that maybe we've forgotten away from there's two teams that are going to go compete for a national championship every year. Two. There's going to be two teams competing for a national championship every year. A lot of us are going to lose every single year. It's not sustainable to pretend that every year you should be competing for a national title. You should be in the hunt every year, but you shouldn't be competing for them. And those are two very different things. And I think people just look at it and say, well, we didn't win 9 games we didn't win 10 games this year. We're garbage. I mean, there's still people who are Tom Herman loyalists that get mad because they're like, Tom won 10 games every year. And I go, we were never close to winning anything big, though. We were never really that close to being a great team who could win anything. And now we're in a better conference. We do that. We're more in the hunt than we have been in previous years. It's I think the mindset has maybe gotten lost. And there's a lot of people making football decisions that aren't football people. And they don't really care. And that's where we get skewed on this.
Well, first of all, Tom Herman won 10 games once, and he won the 10th game in the bowl game. He lost 4 games that year.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend like Tom Herman is this.
I'm not.
I know. I'm not. I know you're not. I'm just saying.
Again, I like Tom Herman. Always very nice to me. Like the guy as a person. But his time has come.
Yeah. And I don't know why this just came into my head, but it did. So I'm going to say it. I want everybody to remember this for perspective purposes. Steve Sarkisian was probably 2 plays away from winning back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, I mean, he's put himself in positions, and that's all you can want. And again, in the hunt versus playing for, and they're two different things. Texas has been so close, and I get that it's frustrating to not be there, but I think you'd rather every year believe you could win a national championship and be in the hunt for a long time than being like, well, we're Indiana and our schedule's easy enough so we can get in. Don't know if we really believe it, though. I mean, maybe they do after they beat Oregon. Maybe after they beat Oregon, they believe they can win a national championship. Now, if they get stomped by Ohio State, that may change. But like it's like Arizona State last year, believed they could win a national championship, but they weren't. I mean, they shouldn't have been close enough with Texas, and then they still lost that game, even though Cam Scadaboo played a game of a lifetime.
Yeah. I just personally believe that if Indiana was in the SEC, they'd be a 7-5 team.
I think they could be 8-4. Depends on their schedule.
7-5, 8-4.
Also, they would schedule only Division II teams on non-conference.
Yeah. Like they'd be a 500 team in the SEC in SEC play every year.
No,
with this team.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I'm not going to take anything from the Big Ten, who bitched and moaned the entire year that the SEC wasn't going to go to 9 games, and then the SEC goes to 9 games. They go, well, we're still not going to schedule to be tough. Just like that, I just don't want to be around football people who hate competition. That to me is the worst thing about sports now. Is there's a bunch of people who hate competition. They love money. Their competition is in the ratings. Which, by the way, I was really pissed. I was hoping ESPN's ratings were really down this week, and they weren't that down. I was really hoping their ratings were going to be worse than they were, because I was really hoping that they would force them to make this stupid YouTube TV debate over, and they would sign a new deal, which they still haven't done. It's very frustrating because my bill's probably going to go up because I have to go somewhere else now. Got to go pay someone else a bunch of money to go watch sports. But I think I'm with you, Tim Bruce. It is tough. 5 SEC teams is not sustainable. You're 100% right in that. But I think also the fact that you could see 2 Big Ten teams this year if Oregon loses out, and you put in 2 every year, I mean, is that Is that what you want either? Do you want to be fighting for 5, or do you want to be hoping for 2 or hoping for 3? I'd rather be fighting for 5 than hoping for 3.
Yeah.
So it's just about the way you look at it. But look, and this is not a shot at Ohio State. They scheduled Texas. Not a shot at them.
Ohio State is the exception to every rule in the Big Ten.
I'm giving you. Not a shot at Ohio State. The rest of that pansy-ass conference can go to hell. I don't like them. They are whiners and moaners. Why are we not getting ranked as high? Because you don't play anybody, you don't win. You all beat each other. Well, we're tough. We beat each other up. You're losing to Northwestern, man. Can't be doing that. Can't be losing to Northwestern. Appreciate you tuning in, by the way, Tempo. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on a Thursday afternoon. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll get into some SEC power rankings. We will see how we are doing, if we want to change anything up this week. Matt was gone for last week, so he doesn't know. We moved everybody around. Ole Miss is below. They're in tier 5 now. There was only 14. We've made it tier 5 for Ole Miss. So we will go and see if Matt has to clean up our power rankings from last week with my man Steven from Fanatic Perspective. But we'll do all that and get into a conversation with Bam and Bruce, look at some of the games this weekend, and see what else we get into. Of course, whatever you guys want to talk about as well. We always try and talk with you guys as we continue on here on a Thursday edition of Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Now, stepping up to the plate is a household name, weighing in at roughly 115 pounds with a wingspan of 98 inches. It's Samsung.
Kid, I know it's baseball season, but this isn't what I meant when I said to incorporate sports into the company commercial.
Sorry, old man. I just want everyone to know that audiovisual consultations can make your home feel like a stadium.
That's true. Audiovisual provides stadium surround sound, huge screen video, controlled lighting, and even temperature control. On our roster, every customer is an MVP.
Sounds like audiovisual knows how to score a home run with our customers.
All right, kid, that's enough with the baseball puns.
But I'm trying to tell everyone that audiovisual is a real catch. You'll love our services.
Kid?
There's nothing coming out of left field when you give us a call. We won't break your balls.
Kid, we only have a minute.
Pitch, please. I don't need your attitude right now.
Rest assured, listeners, audiovisual is much better at installing and designing custom home theaters than we are at making jokes.
Just check our stats. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us online at avconsultations.com.
You see covert everywhere. It's that personal level of just feeling like it's a personal family interaction.
The customer service, it's impeccable. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced buying a car.
Over the 30 years that I've been buying cars from them, I feel like I know them and they know me.
Covert's done an amazing job of making me feel valued. If you purchase a vehicle and you want to feel like you're part of a family, join the Covert family.
Come and experience it for yourself.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
BK here for OLIPOP. Man, this stuff is the game changer of all game changers. Their slogan is a new kind of soda, and that's exactly what it is. You get that same great soda taste, but OLIPOP is actually good for you. Inside of every can, a blend of 7 unique botanicals, plant fibers, and prebiotics. You're getting 9 grams of fiber in every can, only 2 to 5 grams of sugar, and man, the flavor is absolutely there. Classic soda flavors like cola, root beer, lemon lime, and Dr. Goodwin. That's their version of a Dr. Pepper, and some other great flavors as well. The grape, the cream soda, the cherry cola. It's all fantastic. I'm telling y'all, OLIPOP tastes just like the soda you grew up sipping, but with the added benefits of microbiome and digestive health support as well. Pick up OLIPOP at H-E-B, Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, and Costco all throughout the Austin area and the state of Texas. And head over to drinkolipop.com. Use the promo code Texas20 for a discount on your first purchase. It's OLIPOP, a new kind of soda.
Welcome back to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open, 512-222-9328. And, of course, on the chat here on Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. Shout out to my man Chan for sending dirty pictures on the text line. That's not encouraged, but, you know, Chan just accidentally sending. They're not dirty. It's a girl in a bikini. It's not dirty.
Hey, Chan, I think you may have butt dialed Open Gym on those texts.
So we have all that. We got Bamer Bruce coming up here in about 20 minutes. breakdown, start talking about the weekend of SEC action, what he thinks about the polls. And then we've also still got our SEC power rankings, Matt, here on a Thursday afternoon, because we do it here every Thursday on Open Gym. We update our SEC power rankings. Here is SEC. Here is what we ended up with last week. Not a ton of change last week. We moved a couple things down. LSU finally dropped into tier 3. So they finally dropped down of their team. Auburn had a win, so we could not drop them into tier 4 like Matt wanted. I also couldn't knock them into tier 4 without Matt here. It felt rude to knock them into tier 4 without Matt. So we will get in to looking at our tiers. Of course, we look at our tier 1. A&M did not play last weekend, so they did not move anywhere. Alabama also had a bye week last weekend. They did not do anything. Georgia wins at the cocktail party 24-20, needing some late game. Close game there for Georgia. Ole Miss handles South Carolina 30-14 is your tier 1. No losses, 2 byes for your tier 1 teams. In tier 2, of course, Texas beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt moved all the way up to 5 last week just so we can make that Texas win feel a little bit better when we beat them. So Texas beats Vanderbilt, of course, 34-31, and it wasn't that close. Tennessee loses to Oklahoma, so Oklahoma gets a big 33-27 win there as well. And Missouri ends up taking a bye week last week as well, so they do not have any games. They fall into the bye in your tier 2. So, Matt, what do you like about this start here for your top 9 teams in action here?
The only one that bothered me was Oklahoma beating Tennessee, because I feel like Tennessee just screwed that game up. And John Mateer still wasn't very good. So, I mean, I think you guys did a pretty good job.
We did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really complain too much.
So so now we've got some moves. So here's the couple of questions to throw. I don't think we have to move anything in tier 1 once again. I know Georgia game was close. Ole Miss didn't play. Ole Miss got a win as well. I don't know if when I don't move Texas A&M, I don't move Alabama. I think all of those are fine to where they're at right now.
Is there an argument for Texas to be tier 1 yet?
That is the argument. That is where we go. Is I think there is an argument that Texas could move up to tier 1 with a win over Vanderbilt. How they've been looking, could they move up and be? They're definitely number 5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, are they number 5 for tier 2, or are they a team now that we feel fits into the tier 1 logic of, if they don't make the playoffs, it feels like a disappointment?
I mean, would it feel like a disappointment? Yeah.
Because now they're ranked 11th. We're back in it, to where before, when they were tier 2, we're like, I don't know if this team wins the games. Now you feel like there's a very good possibility that Texas could win out. Maybe it's fool's gold. Maybe it's not. But you believe that the offensive line, if they started to figure some things out, you get Michael Taft and Jelani McDonald back healthy, maybe there's a little hope for this Texas team against Georgia and against a really good A&M team.
Look, I really want to put Texas tier 1.
All right.
I really do.
Yeah.
But
I
think you have to beat Georgia first.
Okay, so Texas stays a top tier 2.
Yes, at number 5.
At number 5. All right, we'll leave them there for now. We'll see after the bye week if anybody else loses, anybody else moves around, but they're going to stay at number 5 for now. Then that leaves us with, who do you put at number 6? Does Oklahoma jump to number 6 again? Because they didn't lose. Missouri didn't play. So, I mean, they could technically move up, but Vanderbilt lost, Tennessee lost.
I think Vanderbilt's number 6.
You think Vanderbilt's still number 6?
Their only losses are to Alabama and Texas.
Okay, so we'll leave Vanderbilt at 6. Then do we go Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Missouri, Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee? Oklahoma has to be ahead of Tennessee now, right?
Yes. So I think you go Texas at 5, Vanderbilt at 6, Missouri at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Tennessee at 9. And the reason I don't want to move Oklahoma up too far is, number one, I don't think they are as good as their the win over Tennessee would indicate. Number two, I think they're going to lose at least one more game. And that's a little bit of projection, but
all right. All right. I mean,
I can move them ahead of Missouri because Missouri's losses are to Alabama and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, but I think Missouri's going to lose again this week.
Maybe.
Like, so if I put it that way, like Oklahoma's probably going to jump in this weekend, but I guess, I mean, Oklahoma could lose too. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that as 7 and 8 and 9. So Texas takes tier 2 at 5, the Vanderbilt at 6, Missouri at 7, Oklahoma at 8, and Tennessee at 9. That brings us to tier 3 now. We did move LSU down to tier 3 last week because they fired their coach and everything started to go wrong. They had a bye week, so they did not lose this week. The positive, you can say they did not lose this week. Florida did lose to Georgia, fought again. Not a tier 4 team yet. They fought Mississippi State, actually beat Arkansas, so they stay in there.
Mm-hmm.
But Auburn lost.
Auburn. Who did Auburn play this past weekend?
Auburn played Kentucky, giving them their
who
first.
Did they lose to this last weekend?
They lost Kentucky 10-3. A matchup similar to what Texas looked like they were going to do against Kentucky, but Texas found a way to win, and Auburn found a way to not go. That you want to move them down. See, this is why Texas should have moved up to number 5, because now you're screwing up my. We're too much on the right side again. We're too right heavy again to move everything around in my graphic. But I'm with you. Auburn does move down. Now, Auburn moves down to 14, correct? And Arkansas jumps him in tier 4.
Yeah.
Because Arkansas won.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I also think you move Mississippi State above Florida.
Okay.
Well, didn't Florida beat Mississippi State?
I think so. Mississippi State's got to win one more game to jump Florida, because they've only won one SEC game, and Florida beat Texas.
Yeah, and Florida's got two conference wins, right? Yeah. They're 2 and 3 in SEC play. So yeah, I think it's LSU, Florida, Mississippi State in tier 3. I mean, we can drop Oklahoma to tier 3 if you want to keep.
All right, do we move Auburn? Do we move Auburn below Kentucky since Kentucky beat them? Are they the second worst?
I think
team
so. And they fired their coach. I think that they're the second worst team in the SEC.
Oh, poor South Carolina. We had such high hopes.
By the way, I just want to say that when South Carolina had the lead on Ole Miss in the first quarter, I was like, oh God, Patrick is gonna move them down to number 9.
Patrick, if that was your main worry, we're gonna lose this. Our season's on the line. We have so many things to worry about.
Well, I had no doubt they were gonna win, but it looked like it was gonna be ugly, and I was gonna have to make an argument that they deserve to stay in tier 1.
No, look, a win's a win is a win. So I will say that they did not. All right, so that'll put us with A&M, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss is our tier 1. Tier 2 is Texas, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Tier 3 is now the lonely 3, LSU, Florida, and Mississippi State. And in tier 4, Arkansas, Kentucky, poor Auburn, and South Carolina.
Yep. Let me just write this down so I got it. Yeah, so we're going to Arkansas at 14. And then Kentucky at 15.
Actually, no, wait. We move things around too much because Arkansas lost this week to Mississippi State. So I think we go Kentucky, Auburn, Arkansas, South Carolina. Sorry. My thing's wrong.
Okay, so we have Mississippi State at 13, right? Or is that 12?
12. Mississippi State is at 12 now. And then 13 is Kentucky. And then There we go. That makes more sense to me. There we go. So, yeah. So we go tier 3 is LSU, Florida, Mississippi State. Then tier 4 is Kentucky, Auburn, Arkansas, and South Carolina. So Auburn's not complete, but Arkansas is there. Also fired coach.
Good old Hugh Freeze. What did I tell you at the beginning of the year?
That you're a huge Hugh Freeze fan?
That he was going to be fired by November.
And he was.
And he was.
And he was. So there we go.
Sweet music to my ears. I was right. I was right.
All right.
Sorry.
But all right.
I don't like dancing on people's graves for losing their jobs, but he's a special exception.
Special exception. Him and Brian Kelly were finding. And I didn't really dance on Brian Kelly's. I was just watching everybody else do it. It was like, wow, that's a lot of people that are not happy with Brian Kelly over there.
Did you see that he released a statement today?
No, I did not.
It was it read like the most disingenuous thing I've ever seen. It's like, we came into Baton Rouge with the intention of giving this our all, and that's what we did every second that we were there. We wish LSU the best and the fans and all this stuff. And I was just like, I don't believe a single word that this guy wrote in this statement.
The Dear Tiger fans, moving to Baton Rouge 4 years ago, my family and I were clear there would be no halfway. We would be all in for LSU and for Louisiana. This journey began with great expectations with my own vision of how to get there. Sometimes the journey does not end the way we hope. But when I think of our time together, I will remember and appreciate what we did accomplish. All of the exceptional student athletes I had the privilege to coach and to make Forrest retire. Heisman Trophy winner and more than a dozen Tigers playing on Sundays. 39 players earning SEC academic honor rolls in 2024 alone. My daughter and son earning advanced degrees from LSU, and a third who began his career working at the university. The roar of Death Valley when we beat Alabama. The losses will always hurt, but I will remember all of the wins. I don't need to tell any of you how special Saturday nights in Tiger Stadium are. I am honored to have worn the purple and gold and been a part of it. As everyone heads on their way to see the Tigers play, I wish Coach Wilson, the coaches, and our players the best this weekend. I know they will do their best for themselves and for LSU. We will be watching and cheering for you. This journey may have ended, but it's a journey that will stay with me and my family forever. Go Tigers, Brian Kelly. How much of ChatGPT wrote this?
Probably a lot. Here's what LSU accomplished under Brian Kelly. Are you ready?
Yeah.
10-4 with the 10th win coming in the Citrus Bowl in 2022. 10-3 in 2023 with the 10th win coming in the ReliaQuest Bowl. 9-4 in 2024 with the 9th win coming in the Texas Bowl. And then getting fired after going 5-3 in 2025.
So again, how many coaches are we expecting to change this year, Matt? While we wait for Bruce to get on with us at 5:30. I mean, we say the top 3 are okay. A&M, Alabama, Georgia, all staying the same. Ole Miss is a question mark. Only because Lane Kiffin is very wanted. I think if I had to guess today, I would put money on Lane Kiffin staying at Ole Miss. If I had to put money on it, that's where I would put my money. But I think I think there is a chance. LSU now has a president. LSU now has a new AD. LSU is trying to get things in order to make their pitch to Lane Kiffin. Now, the big problem is if Lane Kiffin keeps winning, then he will be there too long for them to wait. So for Ole Miss, 2 reasons to really want to stay in the hunt right here, because it kind of screws Lane Kiffin, or not screws him, but it screws the other teams out of the opportunity to even really get a good shot at him. Well, and I get you technically could, but that's really hard to do. If he wins a game in the playoffs.
Here's my only question for the people that think that Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss for LSU. What does LSU offer you that Ole Miss does not in today's day and age?
Well, I told you earlier in the show, if a 2-loss Ole Miss is, if the same exact resume, LSU is higher than Ole Miss. That's
probably, but outside of that,
I think there is something to be said for changing scenes to keep moving. I think there's plenty of things to be said for reasons why Lane Kiffin could want to move. I don't think it's necessarily anything like, again, I told you, if I had money put on, I would go there. But I think that, it's silly to sit there and go, there's no reason he'd want to leave. There's definitely
Well, no,
reasons.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's reasons he won't want to leave. I'm saying if you're just stacking up what he has at Ole Miss versus what he could have at LSU in terms of resources, donors, money, transfer portal, all that stuff. I don't think LSU is a better job in that sense than Ole Miss anymore. I don't, because it's just not the same.
No, in all reality, what matters is if he walks in there and they go, we're going to give you an extra $10 million in NIL, then it's a better job, possibly. And that's the thing is we don't know what those numbers actually are. We could put in there, is Ole Miss have 3 guys? Does Ole Miss have 1, 2, 3 guys he can call when he needs an extra $200,000 to keep a player or an extra $200,000 to get a recruit? Does he have that? Or does Ole Miss have that? So I think there's those things in that where we don't know how many phone calls that is. Is that 1 phone call to get a guy? Is that 2 phone calls? Is it 3? And that's kind of those places that we don't know exactly how many people there are in that. I think that you kind of have to look through there. I think there are reasons why he would go, but again, I don't think he is going to go. So that's why I would say that. We'll go with that. So that's your first maybe. We look at Texas. Texas is going to be fine with Sark. I know Dana Rossini would think differently, but Texas should be fine with Sark. Oklahoma, I think now it feels safer with the win against Tennessee. I think that may have got them close enough. Now, if they lose out, then there's something. But if they lose one more game and they're 7 and they end up 9-3, he keeps his job.
That's a positive step forward, and you got some big wins and.
Yeah, and then you're hoping to have John Mateer back for another year to build on that and everything else. Now, who knows if Arbuckle's going to stay for another year, or if he goes somewhere and takes John Mateer with him, because that's possible too. But that one, and then we get to Vanderbilt, which is really the interesting one because Vanderbilt's not in any way, shape, or form trying to get rid of Clark Lee, but there's a really good chance he takes another job. He knows Diego Pavia is leaving. He knows that he's losing some really good players. He's built a lot there, but it feels like it's very easy to crumble at this point, right?
I think that Clark Lee knows that without Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt's not going to be the same. And he's a really, really good coach, but it's just going to be impossible to replicate that. And it's a lot harder to do those things at Vanderbilt than it is somewhere else. So here's what my final count is right now. Assuming Lane Kiffin stays put at Ole Miss, and assuming Brent Venables is now safe with his win over Tennessee and win over Michigan at Oklahoma, I think that by the time we get to, let's say, the SEC championship game, or maybe after the SEC championship game, just to keep it clean, I think we are going to have openings at 8 different schools in the SEC.
8.
I think LSU, Florida, Arkansas, Auburn are obvious because they're all open right now. I think that Eli Drinkwitz and Clark Lee are both going to take jobs elsewhere.
Okay.
And I think that Shane Beamer gets fired at South Carolina, and I think Mark Stoops gets fired at Kentucky.
So I'm with you on a lot of these. I don't think Mark Stoops gets fired. I think I don't have a problem. I just don't think they care that much about football to fire him. I don't think they want to pay that money. I think they realize, let's just not give him a new contract and then we'll figure it out. But we're spending a ton of money on basketball, so we don't necessarily want to use it all to try and get somebody that's, because we're, it just costs so much money. And I mean, that's kind of been one of the bigger thoughts right now.
I have a hypothetical question for you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at the 2026 Texas schedule. assuming that what I say is true, and Eli Drinkwitz leaves for another job. So then LSU, Missouri, Arkansas, and Florida against Texas next year will all have first-year head coaches. Who is the one coach that who are the coaches that these schools could hire that would make you afraid for Texas next year?
I don't.
What would freak you out?
Is there anybody out there? Is there a guy that would be that for you? I don't know if there's a guy that I think can turn a program around in 1 year that I go, oh man, this is a real problem. Watch out for them in the first year.
I've got one.
All right, what do you got?
But that's assuming that Lane Kiffin leaves.
Okay.
So if Lane Kiffin leaves and he takes the Florida job, I think that would be very scary in year one because there's so much talent on that team.
Yeah.
Or if Eli Drinkwitz goes there.
Sorry, I'm trying to send text to get Bruce on the air. Trying to do tech support.
I'll give you one for each. How about that? If Lane Kiffin, and also Texas plays Ole Miss next year, so we can write them in potentially if Lane Kiffin leaves. So if Lane Kiffin goes to Florida, that would be very scary. Actually, let's say Lane Kiffin goes to LSU. I still think that's scary because there's a lot of talent on that team, and you know what he can do with the transfer portal. Eli Drinkwitz at Florida would be scary. I don't think there's anything Arkansas can do. I don't think there's anything Missouri can do. Ole Miss would be interesting, but I think that in this whole SEC coaching carousel idea, Ole Miss is the one that scares me the most in terms of I don't know who they would hire.
Yeah.
Because all these other guys are going to go to Florida, LSU, Penn State, things like that. That leaves Ole Miss kind of picking up out of a bucket. Like, do we hire a really good coordinator? And that doesn't scare me in year one if I'm Texas. So it's interesting to think about. And that's why I think that they're going to try so hard and do whatever they need to do to keep Lane Kiffin because they know that if he leaves, they're going to be in big trouble trying to find his replacement. So if they're like, fine, if you want $15 million a year and unlimited NIL spending, it's yours.
Oh no, I agree with you. I think they're going to do whatever they can to keep him. And the real question is, because Lane's already said this, and I do believe him on this, it's not really about the money for him, at least. It's going to be, do I want to take on another challenge now? I've helped raise my family here in Oxford, and we love it here. Do we want to move somewhere else? Do I want to take on another challenge? Do I believe I can win a title here in Ole Miss? Do I believe I can win? Do I believe I can win at a higher level somewhere else, a la Florida or Ole Miss?
Yeah. I don't think that he necessarily cares about taking on another challenge. At least not right now. That very well could end up being the case in a couple of years. Let's say he gets Ole Miss to the college football playoff this year and maybe to the semifinal. I think he comes back. So it'll be interesting. I don't think that he's necessarily at the point in his career right now where he's going to have to make I've done what I can here. I want a new challenge kind of a thing. I think that's a few years away.
No, I'm with you. If I had to put money on it, I don't think he leaves, but I think there is a conversation he will have to have, especially if Ole Miss doesn't make the playoffs, especially if Ole Miss makes the playoffs, gets lose in the first round. I think there's more of a conversation now. If he wins he makes playoffs, wins in the first round, that all kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just feels like that all kind of goes away. All right. Our man Bama Bruce Castleberry joining the show as he does on every Thursday to give us a look around the SEC. Bruce, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day. The weather is amazing. I mean, look at that sunset, dude. Come on, man. Hey, do you mind? Would you mind if I smash a golf ball to try
Oh, wait. Do we lose him? Is he smashing golf balls? Do we
I
lose
don't
you
know,
for a
but
second?
my camera seems like it's frozen. Can you
Oh,
hear
no.
me okay?
I can hear you all right. Everything's breaking down out here. Everything's breaking down out here in the end. Bruce is going to smash a golf ball. I see you, Bruce. He's going to go hit a golf ball real quick. Matt is frozen on his screen.
Everything's going haywire on Texas Sports Unfiltered in the 5:30 time slot.
In the 5, man, something went wrong today. I don't know. All right. Well, I tried it. Now your camera's just completely gone.
Should I leave the studio real quick and come back?
You may have to. We've lost Bruce audio as well now. So
give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
We're pulling this all together. Bruce, we lost your audio. See if we get you. Bruce, do we got you? I think these AirPods for Bruce. We need to get Bruce some other headphones. We got to figure it out because now I can't hear Bruce at all. Once you set the phone down, Bruce, something happened. Something happened. We can't hear you anymore. I can't hear you at all, Bruce. Trying to get it. Can we hear you now, Bruce? Nope.
I don't even know what's happening with my camera now.
this is going downhill so fast. Oh my goodness. Bruce just brought mayhem to the show. We still can't hear Bruce at all.
There we go.
Wait.
I'm back on camera.
I do not see you on camera anymore. Maybe it's all me. Maybe it's all my computer.
Well, the chat will have to tell us, but
there. I see. I got your camera back.
Okay,
Bruce is
perfect.
still talking with nobody hearing. Bruce, we're gonna have to do it with no AirPods. Unplug them and try it again, and I'll mute you. We'll make it work. But for whatever reason, it worked for 5 minutes and then completely broke. So I don't know. We'll get him as he gets set back up here. Just mayhem.
mayhem in the 5:30 time slot for Texas Sports Unfiltered.
My goodness. All right. Can we hear Bruce now? No, I can still not hear Bruce.
Well, that's disappointing.
We heard him already. I don't know what he's doing. Nope. Still nothing. Still nothing from Bruce here.
Well, we may have to riff for a few minutes while Bruce gets rebooted over
this
here.
is-
My
this is
camera
just-
at least is working.
By
now,
the
so
way,
that's a positive.
this is I can just tell everybody this is the closest simulation to actually knowing Bruce. Is this right
Are you
here?
there?
There he is.
Y'all missed my damn golf shot.
We saw it.
We saw it. We just couldn't hear you.
Dude, I don't hit it straight when I play golf, and I hit it straight.
All right,
Anyway,
Bruce.
sorry for the inconvenience, y'all. Let's get after it.
All right, Bruce. Let's look at some matchups in the SEC real quick for you this week. First off, 11 a.m. on in the matchup this week is Georgia versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State finally got their first win in SEC play. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. Georgia's going there. 11 a.m. game. Is this a trap game at all? Georgia favored by 9.5 in this game.
Well, remember what Kirby Smart said, we can't be killed. So with that said, I think he sounds like he's just trying to hang on to something. And yes, it is a trap game. I'm going to detour over here, just like the LSU-Alabama game. It's like everybody think, oh, they're going to beat them. They're going to beat the brakes off of them. No, they're not. I'm telling you, LSU is, sorry to detour from the question, but LSU has got something to prove here with that DJ Durkins. I'm just telling you, but Mississippi State, they got something for Georgia, I'm for sure.
I don't disagree with Bruce at all. I think this is absolutely a trap game, and I think it's going to be close. Here's what I will say, and I heard one of my buddies say this the other day on his show. Gunnar Stockton's been hearing cowbells his entire life. He's used to that noise because he's a country boy, so he'll be all right. I just think that Jeff Levy's going to be able to dial up some stuff that's going to give them some issues, and I think it's going to be a close game for sure.
I agree.
All right. Well, why don't we look over at the matchup at 2:30, Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M getting number 3 in the polls this week. Maybe they could have been a little bit higher in this, but they end up being at number 3. And they got to take on a Missouri team fighting for their lives at 6-2. Is this another A&M steamroll, kind of like what they've done to LSU, or maybe is it close? The line on this one's 6.5.
Well, I think the line's going to be a little closer than that. I honestly think that Drinkwitz is going to be probably playing coaching another team is what I'm thinking. But he's still trying to keep it tight, just to try to keep that I'm telling you, just keep it going. But I think, honestly, Missouri's going to hang in there the best way they can, but eventually they're going to get beat for sure.
It's a 6.5 point spread right now. I don't want to spoil my pick for tomorrow, but I guess I will. I think it's going to be closer than that. I really do. I think Missouri's going to keep this thing tight.
All right. What about over there at 3:00? Auburn is playing at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt been playing great all season long until last week. They run into Texas. The matchup's really good for Texas. Texas get to win. They do what they do and fought back. And again, I'll say Diego Pavia, elite pest, is what he does very, very well. Is there any shot that a Hugh Freezeless Auburn has a chance to really just ruin Vanderbilt's season, or does Vanderbilt get back on track this week, Bruce? Vanderbilt is favored by 6.5 in this game.
The Vandy show's over. The Vandy show is over. He, that cocky son of a gun, has kind of run its course. I think that Auburn, is it Durkins, right? He stepped up.
Yeah, DJ Durkin.
Yes, sir. And I think that it's going to be a whole nother, development going on with Auburn. And so I'm saying that Auburn's got a chance for sure.
Hey, listen, I don't think the talent was the issue at Auburn. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, if they want to be able to attack this Vanderbilt secondary, if Vanderbilt tackles like they did last week, then it's going to be a major, major problem for Vanderbilt because you cannot play and not tackle the way they did and win many games at all. So if they learn how to tackle this week, they'll be fine against Auburn. But if they can't, they've got some wide receivers at Auburn who are going to torch them.
Yeah,
I agree totally.
All right, let's look over that Florida-Kentucky game. Big game here, Florida and Kentucky, both trying to salvage what's their season's left. Florida is a 3.5 point favorite on the road at Kentucky. Is this a Mark Stoops savior game or a Mark Stoops, dude, you got to get out of here?
Bye-bye. He gone. Florida's not as bad as they started off. Just look at Alabama. They start off and got their butts kicked by Florida State, and look how that turned into. I think that Florida's got a great, great defense, and they do have some explosive, offensive folks on there that are going to make it happen. I think that Kentucky, they're not that good. And Florida, like I said, they do have the explosive plays on offense, and their defense is amazing.
I think this is the first time that Bruce and I have really disagreed about something since he's been on the show. I think Florida wins. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Florida wins. But that game is at Kroger Field. And it seems like Kroger Field, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. It could get a little weird. So I think it's going to be close. But I do think Florida wins.
You know what? I feel what you're saying. I really do. I just think that Auburn's, both of them are kind of in a fix because they're both horrible. But I think Auburn, if they put their second string quarterback in, I think they're going to be able to do it just with their defense.
All right, and finally, let's get to LSU and Alabama, Bruce. I know you've already said this seems like a trap game. A 9.5 point favorite. It's at Alabama. LSU's fired their coach. They had a bye week to get it together. We know they got some talent, but Garrett Nussmeier hasn't looked like Garrett Nussmeier. That's one of the big problems they've had. They've got some injuries as well on this LSU team. Does Alabama drink the rat poison this week, or do they stay strong and win one for Saban's birthday?
Thank you for asking me that question. I think it's going to be a lot closer than 10 points. I think it's going to be, if Alabama comes out and they start off really well, I think that they're going to throw in the white towel. I think they're going to, they're going to say, to hell with it, 14-17. But if they don't have anything to lose. And when they have talent and they believe in themselves. And I think that Alabama's going to have a hard time because they play down to their opponents and they play up to their opponents. So I'll be honest with you, man. I'm kind of scared about this game. I'm not lying as an Alabama fan. So I hope they pull it out, but I don't think they're going to cover.
Alabama's going to win, but I do think LSU covers. I think that the interim coach factor, the Frank Wilson thing, I think all the players are going to be happy that Brian Kelly's gone, actually, including Garrett Nussmeier. I think they're going to be able to they're basically playing with a full deck. They have nothing to lose, right? So I think they're going to throw everything they possibly can at Alabama. And Alabama's going to be able to withstand the storm enough to win the game, but I think it's going to be really close.
Agreed, totally. We always agree. We've only disagreed once.
Well, in 3 weeks, we've only disagreed once.
That's
I'll say
crazy.
this.
What the hell?
I'll say this. I do think there's a pretty good chance that Alabama can sniff this out, and they're just a better football team this year. And at home, if this was at LSU, I'd have much more worried about them not being ready. At home, I think it could be. I would say this: if I was going to bet on LSU to cover, I would bet on them to cover the first half. But I'll say this: I was right about it last week with Penn State and Ohio State. I go, this first half will be emotional, and then the second half they'll win them. Like, it'll just be a blowout in the second half. I think it'll be like that as well.
What's going to happen is like they did with the Aggies last week. They hung in there, and then all of a sudden, when it started getting penetrated and getting worked, and then they laid down lay down Sally. It's like and that could happen with Bama. If Bama can get up and get going when they're just like, you know what, we'll just start fresh next year, and they just got to hope they don't lose all their recruits, honestly.
All right, last one for you, Bruce. We go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to say, if history is any indicator in this game, it's probably going to be close. I think 3 out of the last 4 years, it's been a close game for the majority of it. So I just think it's going to be closer than people think. And I don't know. It seems like a trap game for Alabama.
I get it. I think there's other ones that are more traps.
All day long.
We'll see. We will see. All right. Before I let you go, Bruce, we did get the college football playoff polls coming out. SEC pulls in 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the poll, and then also 11 and 12. What do you think about the early polling? And do you think SEC has a chance to get 5 teams in, or is this a 4-team SEC poll for what's going to end up being in the college football playoff?
Let me tell you something real quick. There's nothing like early polling. There's nothing like that. I've been a part of that. But with that said, I'm going to have to revert to Notre Dame, who gets the gift of, we aren't in a conference, so we get paid everything. They don't have to split it up like the SEC and the Big 10 and the Big 12. And we get to pick our schedule so we can just pick enough to get into the 10-team playoff. But then, as you see in the past, they mostly get waxed, but they always pave their own way to get in there. But like I said, back to the question, I think A&M is the strongest team of everyone. Indiana's they're blocking people crazy. Go ahead.
Thank you.
That's
I went on this whole rant yesterday about how A&M should be the number 1 seed, and people were calling me crazy, but Not Patrick. Patrick always agrees with me on everything. But a lot of people were calling me crazy.
Yeah, but hey, man, but with that said, I agree with you. Look at what they've done. Their, strength of schedule, which it's always a bunch of bogus shit that they try to put together. But A&M is strong, and they have everything in every facet. You know what? The best two teams to me, when I look at it, are A&M and Indiana. Now, Indiana has played a bunch of Grambling and all that, and they beat Oregon. So is Oregon a paper tiger? That's what we're going to have to look at this week, too. See what happens.
I'm with you there, Bruce. We appreciate your time again today, brother. We will see you again next Thursday for more. We'll see if we get you at what location Bruce will be at next weekend as we keep rolling along here. We appreciate you, Bruce. Love you, brother.
Take care, Steve. Joe. Be cool.
Thanks, Bruce.
My man Bruce Castleberry there joining us. Bama Bruce Castleberry joining us on Thursdays here on Open Gym. I can't tell you, Matt, I've known Bruce for 20 years, something like that. That was a very realistic way to experience, if you do not know Bruce, what it is like to know Bruce.
I love it.
Yeah, man, can I hit this? Hey, you want to watch me hit this?
I got a radio interview. Watch this drive.
Watch this drive.
You know what that reminded me of that was flashing in my head is that clip of George Bush from back in the day where he's like, I plead with every nation. We must stop these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive.
Rips one down the fairway.
All right, we're going to take our second break. We're going to come back, get to our meathead of the day, and wrap it up here on a Thursday edition. Hopefully no more technical difficulties today as we wrap it up here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Dan Covert with my wife Hayden. Welcome to Covert BK.
Our newest location in the gorgeous Hill Country includes Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and hundreds of pre-owned and certified vehicles for you to choose from. We have 3 service departments that are ready to take care of your car, truck, or SUV with 86 service bays to accommodate any repair and get you in and out quickly. Come visit us today to select the vehicle you've been dreaming about.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and we'd like to take a moment to thank all of our clients for making the last 37 years both fun and fruitful. If you haven't yet, I'd like to invite you to give us a try for all your home electronics needs. There's no need to leave your home to find great pricing and incomparable service. No traffic, inexperienced sales geeks, or pushy showroom tactics. We come to you. So just relax, hug your kids, and smile. We handle all the work. Just give us a call at 255-8678 or online at avconsultations.com.
Say hello to Jason and the gang over at Relax the Back. They embrace a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle based on 35 years, folks, of proven expertise, and my back couldn't be happier. Their motto is live wellness, and folks, they can transform your routine, your daily routine, into something very, very special if you have back pain. If you're struggling with thoracic problems, if you got hip problems, if you got lumbar problems, please go over to one of their stores. They got 2 great locations, and find out a chair or a recliner or a sofa that's going to fit you and going to make your life a whole lot better. I've got this office chair right here that I've been sitting in for years, and I love it. 2 locations, folks, at the Hill Country Gallery across from Whole Foods, and in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck and Relax the Back.
SendTexTickets.com. If you're in the market for tickets to any sporting event, any concert, any Broadway show, anything live coming to town, you got to head over to SendTexTickets.com. The best seats to all of the biggest events, not just here in Austin, but all over the state and all over the country as well. It's so easy to use. Just log on your phone or computer to SendTexTickets.com. All of their tickets are 100% guaranteed, and they will be delivered right to your phone or computer. So simple to use, and you're also helping to support a local business every time you shop. SendTexTickets.com. So if you want to be at the biggest events in sports and entertainment, there's only one place to go. It's SendTexTickets.com.
Back here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. All mics working, all videos working, getting through it on a Thursday afternoon. One more day left in the week. Well, Friday, get you ready. It's a bye week, though, so no stress for Texas fans this week. I mean, we do have Texas basketball. So we do have Texas basketball. They're playing Lafayette, I believe, on Saturday for men's basketball. Richmond for Texas women's basketball tomorrow, I believe. They're 24th in the country. Richmond Spiders.
I think Texas probably wins that game by 30.
I think they do too, but it is the number 24 team in the country, so they must have some talent on that roster. I'll look into it more tomorrow. I don't look into early women's basketball very much because you get the games like Incarnate Word where they just destroyed them, and we don't get that. But it does bring us to our meathead of the day of some early matchups we see in college basketball because, sometimes these matchups you play D2 schools, you play smaller schools, you play somebody that's from a very small conference or something like that. And you may be able to get away with something like that a little bit more. But there was a game that I saw this clip from, and I'm trying to find the actual final score of this game. This is Boise State versus Hawaii Pacific. And the meat of the day is the medical staff for Boise State because this is the most insane medical treatment I have seen in 40 years. This is while they are down 6 to Hawaii Pacific. Boise State is down 6 to a team they paid to play, Hawaii Pacific. And then a player gets a cramp. And we see the player getting the cramp. You see him there. He's on the ground. And they, instead of being like, let's work on this, figure out, just drag him out. I love it so much. They end up losing that game 79-78 to Hawaii Pacific, Boise State basketball.
That trainer needs to be fired. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. When you said it was ridiculous, I thought it was going to be like one of those soccer things where like they're spraying his leg with like some sort of medical spray, and all of a sudden he hops up and he's better. That trainer needs to be fired 100%. That's ridiculous. I don't care if he's got a cramp. Like, are you sure it's a cramp? Probably. But what if it's something else? And you're just dragging him by his leg that hurts.
So this is what my guess would be. Just seeing that clip, and that's all I've seen of the game. This would be my guess, because I've seen this happen at a Texas game before, is one player got hurt before that and was helped by the doctor back to the locker room. So your team medical, which you only keep one real doctor on your staff, right? Like one real athletic trainer. And then you have like assistants to him. And so he probably was walking with somebody else or tending to somebody else, not really paying attention. And then someone has to run back to him and go, we need you on the court. We need you on the court. And then as he's running back out, the assistant medical trainer or the person who's, going to school for it or whatever else at Boise State is like, with everyone on the team, like, just get him off the court. Like, just get him out of here. And most likely it's the coaches, most likely. I won't say it because I don't know, but most likely. And so because there was nobody who looked like an actual trainer there. That looked like all other students.
Look at the clip again real quick.
At the very end, we see a guy come in that looked
training room is like, and what their staff is like. I was an athletic trainer in high school.
You were not trying to drag players off the court?
No. My high school had 3 full-time professional athletic trainers. My high school. So I would hope that Boise State has at least.
Oh, well, no. Boise State has more. For basketball, they have 1 on the court. So they have more in the program, but they only have 1 because one's with the football team, or 2's maybe with the football team, or one's with the women's basketball. Because like men's basketball has a head athletic trainer, women's basketball has a head athletic trainer. Football has a head athletic trainer. You normally have some assistants that have a little bit more knowledge to not drag people off. But man, that is next level of when the training staff has to watch film the next day. It's not good.
I'm disgusted.
Luckily he was on their side of the court.
Yeah, imagine if he was on the other side of the court, they would have dragged him across the entire floor. Like, why not just help him up and like hobble off?
Yeah, that was probably the thing, because they were like, dude, you need to get up. He's like, my calf. Like, I don't care. Get up and hop off. Like your other leg's fine. No, my calf. Like, drag him. Get him out of here. He's going to be that way. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow making some picks, getting you ready for the weekend of sports, and having a good time on a Friday. Hope you join us. But until then, be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for more from Open Gym.